and the Twitter.
Todd, I'm gonna just for this moment, I'm gonna go ahead and cut you off for just a second. I'm sorry, no, I'm just messing with you, brother. I just had to. Hey, look, I've been talking back and forth with Aunt Lie. I see she stepped up in here. Yeah.
Oh,
boy in the building. That boy in the building.
Hey, Aunt Lie is just like that old Bone Crusher song. She ain't never scared. So I mean, Aunt Lie she ain't scared now. Let's get that understood right there. And Aunt Lie and everybody else entitled to their opinion tonight as well too. We ain't trying to make this. Listen, you had one man that gave his opinion about the current state of affairs, how he feels in Black America. He's entitled to his opinion. Dr. Umar, he is a lightning bolt. So shout out to Dr. Umar. He gave his opinion on the situation. Some in here are going to agree cold-heartedly, and others are going to disagree. So it ain't like, look, at the end of the day, it ain't nothing for us to lose sleep over. We're gonna continue to come up in these spaces and put the content out. And like I said too, we have other topics as well too that people feel free to discuss as well too. We got the N word. I mean, that's something that kind of got lost. We got the N word and we got white privilege as well too. So go ahead, Professor.
Yeah, and look, everybody, Total is right. This is your opinion. It's not any place for anybody to try to shut anybody down. We know that with Dr. Umar, he causes a little bit of a controversy amongst our group anyway. So it might get a little testy there because, hell, he's a tether. I mean, and he's kind of coming into the Black American situation, and he's not really Black American. So that might be where the touchy subject comes into play, everybody. But nevertheless, this is going to be a great space. I'm telling you, I love these topics up here. I think everybody in here's got something to say. I can't wait to hear it. Totally is right, man. We're gonna go in on this, but this is a great discussion, family, because these are topics that we all have wanted to get out. So here it is. This is what the Newstoter space is all about. It's all about people being able to come up, speak your mind, and that's why we love how Total does his spaces, because he wants everybody to come in here and do just that. Give your opinion, and yes, we all need to stay on these mics. I know that's tough for a lot of us, but we all got to do it, okay?
All right. And I see my man Quadir's up in the YouTube channel. I ain't seen you in a minute, so shout out to this young brother right here. Shout out to Brooke and everybody else on YouTube as well, too. What's up, Brooke? What's up, Extreme X? What's going on? What's going on to the YouTube family? Y'all make sure y'all share the broadcast and like it tonight as well for those over there in YouTube land. So, man, let's go ahead and get to the broadcast and like. Let's go ahead and go ahead and get started. People can filter in as they come in. Like I say, we got three worthy topics tonight, guys. So I know, like I say, Umar's been in the news the most, but we got three topics worth talking about as well too. This is from News One, curator Newstoter.com platform is up in the jumbotron. Dr. Umar Johnson interview sparks viral debate about Black relationship dynamics. An interview with Dr. Umar Johnson has not only gone viral in part because of the noted Pan-African psychologist's views he shared addressing the dynamics of heterosexual relationships between Black people. The interview with the Daily Wrap-Up Crew podcast was published on YouTube last Friday and featured his host peppering Johnson with questions on various topics that included but were not limited to self-hate in the Black community, President Barack Obama's 2 terms in office, slavery, voting, HBCUs, and reproductive rights. But it was the conversation's attention to Black men and women and the nature of their relationships with each other that caught social media's attention most and propelled it to go viral. As always, a major promoter of Black on Black love, Johnson offers some sobering views about how he says Black men treat Black women. So exactly what did Umar Johnson say? At the end of the day, if I'm going to call myself a man, the ultimate responsibility for the reconstruction of the Black community rests with me, Johnson told the Daily Wrap-Up Crew podcast 3 hosts. Yes, they Black women have a role. Yes, they have responsibility. But as a man, as a leader, to say, I can't fix this shit unless she changes, that's not the definition of a man. The Daily Wrap-Up Cruise host, three black men push back on Johnson's assertions and complain that black men have to deal with masculine women within the family structure. Why is she masculine? Because she had to raise kids alone? I'm telling you, mistakes made by black men systematically gave rise to the conditions that allowed her to be masculine and made her end up with a man that you consider to be less than he should be, Johnson said. And I'm telling you, black men are responsible for her being masculine because we have not helped her raise them children, Johnson continued. The black woman has been a be all in our community for half a century, and now we want to turn around and say she didn't do it perfectly or remain feminine enough when she had to absorb our responsibilities plus her own. He also said black women were wrongfully being blamed for the actions of black men, and we are complaining about black women who are making babies with the irresponsible men that we black men didn't raise correctly. That's bullshit. That's wimp ass, weak man shit. Take responsibility for our shit. Stop scapegoating them black women. What did Black Twitter say? The interview sparked a larger debate on social media where the response has been one that largely agrees with Johnson, at least by Black Twitter. But of course, there was a fair share of negativity from detractors who found Johnson's commentary to be divisive. Dr. Umar can't tell black women the truth because he needs as many of them as possible to send their kids to his school so he can get as much money from the government as possible, one tweet said in reference to Johnson's long-planned school in Delaware for black boys. This clip is proof that black men don't even have allies amongst ourselves. But another tweet disputed that claim by pointing out that despite the problematic things Johnson has said for years, once he makes a point that includes accountability from black men when discussing how black women select date, now y'all concerned about him building that school. Others point out how the conversation may be uncomfortable but necessary. Dr. Umar said all the harsh truths in the interview, one tweet said, citing a study that said 57.6% of black children are living absent their biological fathers. Another tweet said Dr. Umar is right when he says black men aren't raising our boys. If every black man raised their kids properly, our community would have more positive black men and women. Umar Johnson has a history of addressing black men and black women's relationships. The Daily Wrap-Up Crew podcast is far from the first time Johnson has chimed in on the state of black heterosexual relationships. Earlier this year, Johnson doubled down on his criticism of Kevin Samuels months after the controversial self-proclaimed relationship guru died. In that instant, Johnson called Samuels' style divisive and decried his approach to criticism and expectations of women as being very superficial in terms of what was important. Johnson continued later, telling women that you are too fat or too small or too broke, and that's the reason why you don't have a man, that is psychopathological and is destructive to our community. I did not agree with his approach at all. Johnson also said black women who supported Samuels lacked love for other black women. And the fact that he did have a lot of power, people follow him, speaks to how bad and how speaks to how self-hating we could be as people. Johnson added, I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of women who supported Kevin Samuels supported him because they don't like other black women and they enjoy sitting back on their couch, sipping their tea and watching this black man tear black women's self-esteem to shreds. So yeah, that was Dr. Umar Johnson's that was his opinion. Like I say, that article is up in the Jumbotron. Also, for those on YouTube, it's up in the actual description as well, guys. So that was Dr. Umar Johnson. As you see, he also earlier this year he kind of had an issue going on as well with Kevin Samuels. I guess after Kevin Samuels died as well. Too. Shout out to my girl Rerod. Thank you, Rerod, for your contribution on Cash App. But yeah, you know, Kevin Samuels, of course, he's dead, so he can't. It was nothing he can say to refute what Dr. Umar said. But yeah, and Black Twitter or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, it's been, you know, they've been kind of having back and forth as well to men saying one thing, women saying another. Some women disagreeing with Umar, some men agreeing with him, some men disagreeing. So, you know, I would say it's been split evenly amongst sexes, but then, like I said, with anything else, you have some people that women and men, you know, seeing different viewpoints on that as well too. So let me give a shout out to all you guys up in the space. Y'all make sure y'all go ahead and tweet this space out tonight. Tweet the space out, guys. We intend on having a good space, and thank everybody for coming in. DJ, you got it. Go ahead, unmute your mic.
Hey, I know you read the article of what he said, but the video only 55 seconds. Got played like once or twice just for the context so people can hear it.
Play it one time. That's more than enough.
All right, hold on a second. Let's go there. Hopefully y'all can hear because I'm in another room right now. Hold on a second. I think that's good enough. All right, here we go. Patient with our women because we created that personality. We created that, and then we want to have to be patient with our women because we created that personality. We created that, and then we want to act like we didn't play a role. We have to be held accountable for their poor selection. No, you have to be held accountable. No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection. See, what you're saying, you're selecting a poor mate. And what I'm saying is they don't have much to select one, so of course you're going to end up with a poor mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as black men are not raising black boys to be the men that our women need. We are not. They out there killing themselves right now. What we doing about it? Unemployed black males, what we doing about it? Pants sagging, weed smoking, what we doing about it? Black men are not raising black boys to be the men our community needs. That is 100% our fault. What I'm saying is she got a right to be angry with us. She got a right to be angry, be patient with our.
Yeah, and he said a lot more as well too. Like I said, it's his opinion. You know, I'm with anything. I think you can find some truth in what he was saying. At the same time, some of the things you can disagree with as well too. So I don't know if it's. I know you'll have people that'll say it's black and white. But like I said, I definitely want to hear everybody's views because you know, some of what he's saying, you know, you can use it as something constructive to go ahead and build on. Some of it you may not agree with. So it's just interesting to hear what people think about this as well too. I want to hear our people what they have to say about it as well. And like I said, guys, we're also talking about the N-word too. He mentioned about the jeans sagging and this and that or whatever. Well, you have a lot of older black men in this country that feels that a lot of the guys, a lot of the younger generation with the pants sagging and disrespectful, the ones going around saying the N-word all the time, that they're an actual issue, that they're actual problem. They feel that the N-word has been glorified over the past 50 years and that black exploitation movies also played a huge part in it. That not only did black exploitation movies play a huge part in a subculture being promoted in black America, but that people such as the dealers and the pimps became getting glorified right around the time that they believe that the black family started to fracture back in the 70s. So, like I say, tonight is a conversation, man, where I definitely want to hear what people have to say as well. I can remember growing up, being young, the N-word was not popular at one time. The N-word really didn't become popular into the 90s. The early 90s is when you started seeing, really the early 90s is when you really started hearing black people use the N-word more and more and more. It was always used, don't get me wrong. It was always used, but you know, it was something that it was used at one time, because you can even look at some of the old shows from the 70s, and sometimes somebody say, "Nigga, are you crazy?" You may hear James Evans, or you may hear George Jefferson, but they're not saying it in a brotherly tone. They're not saying it in a brotherly fashion, like, "Oh yeah, that's my dog, that's my homeboy." No, they're saying it, hey, with contempt for this other person. Like, hey, and a lot of black people felt that the word, if you were going to use nigga, it should have stayed on that path. That it should have stayed a word of contempt and not a word of endearment. So yeah, I mean, and I hold on real quick. I see Brooke. Let me read Brooke's comment on YouTube real quick. She says, "I'm realizing that those pants sagging was probably first generation immigrants." Like, Brooke, I don't know about all that, Brooke. Now, come on now. The pants sagging came like in the hip hop culture, which a lot of people say originated from, you know, people in jail and prison and stuff like that. So, you know, one of Snoop Dogg's classic lines from his song Doggy Style, it was either Doggy Style or the Crime, I think it was Doggy Style. He said, Snoop himself said, and we know Snoop is a black American. Snoop said, I let my pants sag, but I ain't no fag. You know, that's what he said. I let my pants sag, but I ain't no. So it was always, you know, later on we found out that people said that it actually came from the prison culture and stuff like that. But I don't know about the immigrant part, sister. No, you had. If we was being honest, we had a bunch of Black Americans in the '90s and stuff. Hell, I can remember Crisscross when they came out, 90, 92, 93, or whatever it was when they came out. Crisscross used to have their clothes backwards and they had pants sagging off. So it was definitely a hip hop style where you had clothes sagging and falling off or whatever. But like I say, nonetheless, you have a lot of older Black men, and they're older now by men older. A lot of them in their 60s and their 70s and even 80s felt that the newer Black generation, that the actual Generation X, what is it, Generation X? The Generation X was the one who actually pushed that out. But then, if we're gonna be real about it, it was actually the baby boomers generation that actually started the actual the whole promotion of the N word. If we want to be real, if we want to go back to the '70s, when you got the movies from the '70s and stuff, a lot of them actually really, because you didn't hear Black people, you didn't hear any Black movies in the '60s really talking about nigga this, nigga that. So a lot of times, baby boomers like to push that off on Generation X, but baby boomers themselves help participate and help to popularize the actual word nigga. If we want to be honest about it, look at some of those movies with Fred Williamson, Yaphet Kotto, Jim Brown, Foxy Brown, back in the '70s and stuff like that. Uh, I mean, you'll actually see it. Look at the Superfly, look at the Mac, look at a lot of those movies that came along in the '70s and stuff like that. And you had the actual street dealer. Let's be honest, the street dealer, baby boomers themselves were the ones that actually pushed it out there. Now they like to put the blame totally because it became more into the actual movies. I mean, it came more into movies and music in the '90s, but they were the ones that initially, if you want to be honest, really pushed the N word out there. Professor, go ahead and mute your mic, and anybody that wants to speak tonight, go ahead and go ahead and raise your hand. Don't be shy. Don't be brand new. Also, let's talk about white privilege in here as well, too. That is also a topic. So, yeah, it's about Umar Johnson on his relationships. It's about the N-word. And it's about white privilege, something that never seems to run out in this country, no matter how hard you wish it would. Go ahead, Professor.
Yeah, thank you, Newstoter. Once again, this is a great space for tonight. Great topics, man. I mean, you got 3 different topics up there that everybody can just go in and say what you have to say. In regards to this guy here, Dr. Umar Johnson, this guy stays in Black American business all the time, and he's not one of us.
I thought Umar's a Black American.
What's that?
Isn't Umar Black American?
I think this dude is a tether, man. This dude is not actually from his lineage. Is not actually from here.
Because I remember you talking about he was related to Frederick Douglass or somebody, wasn't he?
Yeah, but I think he's got lineage.
No. The family of Frederick Douglass said he's not related to them.
Exactly.
I'm using the Frederick Douglass name.
Exactly. His lineage is not from here, total. This motherfucker is staying up in, excuse my French family. This joker keeps staying up in our family business, and he's really not one of us. But let me say this, family. He made a great point. Yes, he did. Okay, Black men have dropped the ball. Okay. Black men, as men, we can admit our downfall. We can admit our faults, right? I can. I can admit mine as a Black man. I'm willing to say that, right? But Umar really doesn't have any right to come up into this trying to tell us what he thinks we are. Because he's not really one of us. Now, he's Black. Yeah, he's melanated people. He's one of the ones in the diaspora. But he's not one of us. So the hell with what he thinks, really, to be honest with you. Although he made a great point. And so with that being said, Dr. Umar, I really am getting tired of you coming up into our shit and trying to tell us what we are and what we should be doing. Don't tell us what we should be doing. What should your group be doing? See, what should the Black people on your end should be doing to make things right with us as Black Americans, because we have led the way with you guys over here. So don't come up into America trying to tell us what we supposed to be doing. See, although you made a great point, Dr. Umar Johnson, you did made a great point. I'm gonna land my plane right there because I see the family is raising their hands. I see Dana, Dana with the cocksaw hand, everybody. She up in space. Shout out to her. And Aunt Lie, she said talking about she wasn't gonna come up here. There she is, right there, family. So anyway, I'm gonna land my plane right there.
All right, Dana, how you?
Hey, I don't know. I think Allah was up here before me.
No, you were up here. You had your hand raised before she did.
Yeah, no, Dr. Umar, he's FBA ADOS. He is. He's not a black immigrant. So I don't know what you meant, Professor, when you say he's not one of us, meaning that he's not a black American. He is. Now, direct lineage from Frederick Douglass. No, maybe a cousin removed, but his lineage is based here and not outside. But he is a Pan African. He is a Pan Africanist, 1,000%. I, on the other hand, am not. However, aside from all that, since we all have a right to be a part of whatever we want to be a part of, he is a licensed certified psychologist. He knows what he's talking about. And when somebody is a specialist, especially a psychologist / therapist, they know the behaviors of people, whether we're acting in a conscious or unconscious manner. There are men who are upset because they feel, why are you picking on us? And that's not the case, because he always talk about black women too, but he's never talking about it from a hatred point of view. And that's what I appreciate about it. We have too many people on social media with too much hatred in their tone and their context, men and women, black men and women, But he made a lot of valid points when it comes to women being masculine. There is a difference when you have a woman, single mother or whatever, who's doing everything on her own with no family support, no community support, no man in a home or whatever, as opposed to a woman who's behaving badly. So there are, and I think what he means, being masculine is, listen, more single mothers, good mothers, they're more direct. They don't want you wasting their time. They're busy. There's a lot of things going on, and they know that they have to do it themselves. So they don't have time to play games. If you're going to be here, you're going to be here. If you're not, then go over there. If that's masculine, then whatever. Take it or leave it type of attitude, because they're too much on their plate. But he wasn't even saying that you men should marry a woman. He was basically coming from the point of men need to lead more where you live at in your community, which, preferably it should be a black community. Be a role model in these young black boys' lives, because that is going to reverse the quote-unquote pookie. Pookie just isn't some poor person living in the projects. It's a lot of men with a lot of money that have pookie behavior. But when you see more positive black men representation, that does help change the trajectory of young black boys and shaping them to be positive, productive black men as adults. And I'm going to land right there for now.
All right. Thank you.
And the white privilege, honey, the white privilege is, a just pearly, who I talked about on my show today, that can come up in black spaces, still black content creators content, and flip it and make it her own, pandering, and because she knows she has a white face, you black men are going to follow and make her more wealthier than what she's already is by her generational wealth. That's part of white privilege, yes. And a lot of times we play into that by giving them that. All right, that's it.
Oh, no, you didn't, Dana. So you saying that this a black man that made Just Pearly come up now?
Oh, yes, honey, because first of all, she's so kept the same talking point. She's like, okay, I'm gonna be pro, quote unquote, that red pill, but the black sector of that red pill manosphere, yes, or whatever. But it was all Kevin Samuels talking points. And I'm a white woman. White women, I said this on my show today, are black men kryptonite. And all you Negroes that was, following in love with Kevin Samuels, but that man passed away, y'all took all your subs and your money and your So yes, you black men, I'm generalizing, you black men played a vital part to her constantly going viral until she ended up kicking us in the back, well, y'all in the back, so I never supported her by belittling slavery and other little slick comments. And then she tried to get on here talking about why we not talking about abortion because, well, we're talking about Margaret Sanger, and she's very ignorant and uneducated. But you are the ones that lifted her up. See, that's part of that white privilege, and we play into that. We give white people a lot of times their power. And I'm going to land on that.
Well. Because now I didn't know who the hell Jess Purley's was until I saw Jason Black going in on her. I didn't even be honest. I didn't even know.
I thought you knew that woman was.
I didn't know who she was until I saw Jason Black making videos about her and stuff. So I definitely did not know about it. And then I heard that she was taking Kevin Samuel's talking points and this and that, but I did not know who she was until.
Nobody didn't know who she was, because you are a black man who's the head of your household, being a black leader in your community. You're busy.
Yeah, I told her, I'm gonna tell you what. She gives great pearl necklaces. So there you go. That's what you need to know about pearl necklace. But Dana's point on Umar, since he is that Pan African, because we know that to be true, he might as well be one of them because he showed Kate with him over there. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, he's one of them.
Hey, let me add this real quick because a couple people on Twitter and in YouTube, they're saying talk about Umar has Cuban lineage. So like, I don't know how far back his.
That man lineage is not American. He's not all American, Dana. He might be born over here, but his lineage says he's from somewhere else. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. He's not actually an American lineage like you and I. He's something else. So that's what I'm talking about.
All right.
But we all something else. I have German British because of my last name, but on the maternal side, it is a deal less. So we're all something else. So how many generations are you going back? He's Cuban, during the slave trade? Remember, they first dumped them off in Cuba and all throughout the Caribbean, and then some of them sprinkled over here. So again, but you're right as far as the Pan African.
Extreme X on YouTube said his father is Cuban, so I don't know. I heard a little bit of something like that before, but I didn't know if it was true or not. But I knew he always claimed to be related to Frederick Douglass, but of course that's been refuted. That's been refuted as well too.
You're a fraud, total. That's why we need to just spit on him. Be a fraud.
Let me go ahead and get the DJ and Aunt Lie and Black Native as well too. Anybody else that wants to speak, go ahead and raise your hands and we'll get to you as well too. So
Throw man hands. Let the ladies go first.
Okay, well Aunt Lie, then you go ahead.
Peace, Black Power, reparations. I'm gonna make it short and sweet. Professor, you gonna stop trying to discredit what this man's saying, talking about he a tether. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if he's saying some valid points, you're not gonna say, "Oh, I agree." But no, ain't no but about it. And I don't know why I feel like men have their panties in a bunch about what he's saying because he's saying some factual things. At the end of the day, okay, the N-word, because I'm trying to calm down because I feel my blood pressure. I don't like people saying the N-word. I get on people all the time about saying the N-word. Black people, I don't think we should say it. Other cultures use it against us and they say it with vitriol. But as a people, I don't understand why we would call it's psychological warfare. Why would we call each other that and us trying to quote unquote make the term something positive is bullcrap. I don't think we should say it at all. I don't think nobody else should say it. If you black, I feel like you got to get out of jail free card. You should be able to punch anybody who say it in the mouth. And I'm not a violent person, but they should be able to. It should be on site anytime somebody say that. That's not black, but black people, I don't think they should say it. White privilege is paying $250,000 to die when you're trying to go see. When you're trying to go see the death wreckage of other people who have white privilege. Because there ain't want no black people on the boat. That's white privilege. For you to pay $250,000 to die. And the fact that black people literally have to fight every day for their basic necessities and fight for their humanity to even be seen as human. And the fact that the white people and white they just don't have a care in the world that they can do some of the dumbest stuff. Like, you look at the paper, like I say all the time, back in the day, you could read the paper and hear an article about, man eaten by a bear, and you be able to tell that it ain't no black people involved in it based on the logicalness of said act. So, it's just them having the freedom. They don't have to worry. They don't have to fight for everyday survival, everyday struggle, or to be a human every day. So they get to do dumb stuff like that all the time. That literally is the epitome of white privilege. But in regards to Dr. Umar Johnson, he said what he said. People need to reflect on what he said. It's time to have a serious conversation about what he said, because a lot of times you'll hear men say all the time, and they will dog black women out. And again, we as black women, if it doesn't apply to us, we let it fly. I'm not a baby mama. So you'll hear black men talking about baby mamas, or women taking me to child support, or women, and they'll say women in general, and black women who it doesn't apply to have to sit there and eat it. But men getting so mad that all he's saying is literally, you're a black man, you're responsible for the black community, which is the same thing that black men have been saying anyway. And I don't understand why people panic in a bunch, really, about what was said by him. And he does have the degrees. He does study literally the behavior of people. And they asked him a question. So they asked him a question, they gave him an answer, and they didn't like the answer he gave. It's just, it's puzzling to me. But I don't even know who this Just Pearly person is. I don't like it when I see people that's not black have black talking points. Like, you'll rarely, I don't understand that. And I feel like because they steal everything and bite everything from us, it'll be a video of a black person saying something and a white person to take that video. Or it's a white man on YouTube with a long beard and he be talking these racial stuff. And I don't even like listening to his videos, even if they're valid or whatever. But I wouldn't share them, because for some people to get it, they have to hear it coming from a white person. Black people can say the same thing, have the same fight, but when it comes from a white person, they think white ice is colder. And I just don't like that. So I've always been very mindful about sharing things that other races say, even if it's legitimate about our race. Because no, why we don't need them to come for us to get together. We need to get together for ourselves. But I really feel like people need to really take what Dr. Umar is saying and apply it. Because when you had in the culture of people being mass incarceration and you had the black men in the community, these kids, what's that movie? It was a TV show that just came off where the uncle was selling drugs with his nephew, Snowfall. And Snowfall, the men was champion him, like, he was the greatest thing. You see how he died? And I'm like, wait a minute. He sold drugs with his nephew. As a black man in the community, he could have been a positive role model because his father was, a Panther, but his father was struggling, who could have been there for his nephew. But instead, he helped his nephew self-destruct himself and his community. And he was looked upon, and everybody was saying, but he's a great actor and all this other stuff. And they get black people looking at the negative in the thing, whatever the thing is, and worshiping it. And it's a point in time where we got to really start seeing how, when you do have a situation where the father's out of the home, but you have the uncles, the cousins in the neighborhood, what are they really doing with the youth? Because the youth, the way they are, and then they'll blame the woman for the state of society, for the black men and all of this, but they won't take the blame for the fathers because they've been taken out of the home. He had some very valid points. I really feel like we could explore that in a positive way instead of just trying to invalidate his claims, saying he's a tether, saying he's like professors doing. No, he said some factual stuff. You agree, but don't agree, but agree wholeheartedly and keep it moving. And I'll land my plane.
All righty. Well, he doesn't have to necessarily agree wholeheartedly, but I'll let him respond. I'll let him respond to that as well. You can agree with certain things that people say. You don't have to necessarily agree with the entire thing. So, that's just pretty much how it is. But let me go ahead and get the black native. We're going to move it around. We get the black native.
Hold on, let me turn this down. Sorry about that, y'all.
there listening to Teddy.
I'm about to say, what you listening to over there?
Hey, y'all. Peace to the room, everybody. A real masculine black man. Sad the way he went out, though, but I love Teddy. Yeah, but I was just reading the article on your website, and I'm just trying to figure out where did Dr. Umar lie. What lies were being told when he said that black men should be the leaders and the pillars of the community? Black women, a lot of black men say black women are masculine and, they don't let them be men. So, we want to step back and put our feet up and get in the bubble bath and relax. We don't really want to be leaders. So that's something that should be automatic and innate for every man to want to lead. So I don't understand why people would be upset with what he said. I'm just confused as to what the issue was and why everybody had their panties in a bunch. Now we did speak about Pearly things. Remember, Newstoter?
Oh yeah, and I told you in that space, I did not know about her until Jason Black started going in on her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we spoke about that wench. I'm about to call her a bad wench. That troll, because she's trolling. But that, like the sister said, that's white privilege. I was just reading. I don't know. There's somebody named Matt Walsh who likes to post a lot of racist shit on his platform, and he said,
he's racist.
The reason why those people drowned in the submarine were because they were wokish. I never knew rich white men knew anything about being woke. See, that's what she said. When they take and steal our shit, they always try to revamp it, revise it, and make it into something they want it to be. Not what it really truly was when we made it up in the first place. So I didn't understand why he thought that was something that needed to be tweeted out. I don't care about those men in the sub. That's the only thing I care about is the sub sandwich. If you ain't talking about that, I could care less what happened to these clowns that went in some water with a tin can, and then whatever happened to them, I don't know. I wasn't following it. I just kept seeing pictures. So, but that's white privilege. They can do whatever they want. They can say whatever they want, and there's no consequences behind it. They could deny that there is no such thing as white privilege. That's white privilege within itself, to deny that there is no white privilege. Everybody else who's non-white understands that there is white privilege. Everybody suffers from racism. Black, Hispanic, Asian. We all know what it is, but it's only, they like to live in, they like to have cognitive dissonance. They want to think that the things are what they think it is really what it is, but truly it's not. So, I don't know what we can do about white privilege, because as long as white people are in power, they're not going to punish themselves to a certain extent unless they have to. So we're going to have to deal with these Karens and these Kens running around like ravaged beasts. One white woman walked into a black man's house. And did she get arrested? Did she get shot? Because he had every right to shoot her. That's what, stand your ground? Because she didn't like that he was playing his music loud. She was all in the man's house, and he let her walk out. And she got her car and drove off. That's white privilege. And they all understand that they have it. If nothing else, they got $1 million of white skin. And so that's what I wanted to say on that. I don't know about what was the N-word. My kids, I use it sometime when I'm mad, or just, but I've never allowed my kids to ever use N-word in my house. I was like, don't say that. I don't like it. So, are we ever going to give it up? I doubt it. We use it in ways as greetings, or what's up, man, and we use it also hurtfully to each other. So I don't think the N-word is going to go anywhere unless we stop it from going anywhere. But as long as we keep using it, it will be around. So that's all I want to say, and I'll go ahead and land my plane.
All right, thank you, Black Native. Let me go ahead and get to Volvo. Volvo, what's going on? Unmute your mic.
Yeah, can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate you. something that she said at the end. We use it hurtfully towards each other. I've never heard a black person use it hurtfully towards another black person. I've never heard that. Where I come from, it's always been a term of endearment. It's just something that we just say to each other. Um, that's the reason why I came up here to speak on this. The other stuff I came to the space late, but as far as the N word is concerned, that's always been around me in my community. I remember some of my earliest memories riding around with my father, and we'd stop at the Strand's house, and they say, "I see you got your little nigga with you." You know what I mean? It was never like a bad thing. We knew that we ain't about to tolerate that from white people, but it was always, it was never a bad thing. Like my mother, she almost 70. She called me nigga to this day. Like she ain't just saying it like nigga, but just like I remember a time where I'm like, "Ma, I can't bring you no cigarettes. I just got off work. I'm tired." She was like, "Nigga, bring me a pack of cigarettes. I'm your mama." Like in a joking way. You know what I mean? So like, far as that, like, I feel as though how we talk to each other, that's our business. You know what I mean? Like I'm not about to be hanging around no other races that's talking about yo, I'm a nigga, yo, you my nigga. That shit is corny to me. You know what I mean? Like, I done been in four fights in my life about that word. It was all white boys. You know what I mean? So like at this point, I feel as though like, they got words that hurt them too. We just don't use them because we don't speak like that. So if you one of them people that gotta come around me and you gotta yo, I'm a nigga, I ain't gotta fade you. It ain't always gotta be a fade all the time, y'all. We ain't gotta let that be no triggering where I'm start swinging if you say nigga. No, they got other words too. Hopefully I don't get kicked out the room, but I say spit. I say all that shit, chink, gook, all that. You getting all that. If you come around me talking like that, I'm gonna unload on you. And then we go from there. Whatever you want to do after that. If you want to fight, then yeah, we can fight. But if you want to come around me with all that, parasite, all that, I got all types of shit loaded in. Like you know what I mean. So as far as that, that's just the way that we speak to each other. They need to get out our mouth. They need to get out our business. They need to stay out of grown folks' mouth. That's what my mama told me. Stay out of grown folks' mouth. Stay out of grown folks' business. Stay out of black folks' mouth. Stay out of black folks' business. If that's how we talk to each other, that's our business. Now, if you want to go in your community and that's how y'all want to cosplay us and mimic us, keep that shit over there. I'm not interested in that. You know what I mean? I'm not interested in that. As soon as I see one, even if they act black, just they ain't even got to be saying that word, but if they try to, copy our mannerisms and all that type of shit, I don't even want to be around that. Already don't want to be around them, period, in a regular, natural state. But when I see that, you were goofy to me. You know what I mean? Somebody on here, I don't know what space this was, but a guy said, they want our rhythm, but they don't want our blues. You know what I mean? He put that beautifully. I don't know who said that, but that's real. They want the cool parts of black culture, but they don't want the bullshit we gotta go through. That's why it's not the
Mills said that.
Who?
Stephanie Mills. They want black music. They just don't want it from us. That's what it was. She said they want black music.
That wasn't how.
They just don't want us. You know what I'm saying?
No, that ain't how he said it though. He said it like they want our rhythm. They want the good parts. They don't want our blues. They don't want our trouble. You know what I mean? They want the cool parts of black culture. They want to yo, I'm a nigga and all that big ass shit. That's why it's offensive, because you cosplaying me, but you ain't got to go through the real shit. You get to put it down when it's inconvenient. That's what make you a culture vulture. But I ain't gonna go on too long though. If that's how me and my brother talk to each other, that's our business. I'm not gonna be around no other races talking about they niggas. That's corny to me. That's lame. I can't tell nobody how to speak.
I can't put my hand up nobody ass and make them move their mouth. If that's how you speak over there, just keep that shit away from me. Now, if you tell me, if you pull a Fat Joe and say ain't nobody gonna stop me from saying it, well, ain't nobody gonna stop me from saying spit, wetback, whatever else term I decide to come up with, and you gotta respect that. What you think, you a bully or something? No, you gonna, if I gotta respect what come out your mouth, you gonna respect what come out my mouth, and we ain't gotta fight or nothing. It ain't gotta be no, that ain't gotta be no triggering word no more. Well, no, we ain't gotta fight or nothing. But you gonna respect what come out my mouth. Words hurt them as well. Appreciate you letting me speak, brother.
All right, appreciate it.
Can I just address him
Real quick,
real quick? Not nothing.
Because I got Sean, because he the next speaker. So real quick, Black Native.
Okay. When I said that we use it to harm each other, we do. Let's just use hip hop as an example. When they tell me I'm gonna blow that nigga brains out, or when it like I said, you could use it as a term of endearment. Like, what's up, my nigga? You know what I'm saying? Or you could be like, nigga, I'm gonna fucking blow your brains out. You know what I'm saying? And it's ways of how we use words, to create a certain emotion. So we do say nigga sometimes to harm, and we use it when we say we want to harm someone. We'll be like, nigga, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I blow it. And that's just like, I don't even know where you been if you ain't heard 50 Cent and everybody else, you know what I'm saying, talking about they want to pretty much do genocide on their own people. And I win.
Okay. Let me go ahead and get to Sean. Sean, go ahead and unmute your mic. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing fabulous. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good.
What's up, family? I ain't talking on your space in a minute.
What up, Sean? Good to see you, bro.
Good to see you too. On the Umar Johnson situation.
Hey, Sean.
Hello. With Umar Johnson, what he said, we talk about what he said about black men have a responsibility for other people's children that are black. I tend to agree with that sentiment. I know it rubs a lot of our brothers the wrong way because they get caught up in the idea that we have to take up the slack for a woman who demands bad decisions. But at the end of the day, if we're leaders and we rule the community, we gotta act like it. So think of it this way: if anybody's seen that movie, City of God, right? What struck me the most was the little kids, man. They was running around 9, 10 years old with guns and pistols, robbing trucks, killing and stuff like that. So check this out: if we, as black men, don't put a positive influence as best we can on these young black men, less honorable men are going to do it. You're going to have these riffraff running around our community. I've seen it. I've had loved ones murdered. I've seen the situation. I come from Los Angeles. You know what that's like with the gang culture out there. Those are less honorable men influencing our kids. So we got to really take up that slack. I know it sucks. No other race of men has to do it, but hey, we built for it. As far as the N word, like Paul Mooney said, when it really counted for y'all to say not to say that word, you motherfuckers didn't do it. So if a black person want to say the N word, I'm not gonna argue. Now any other group of people, like Fat Joe talking about, you ain't gonna make it stop, I'll blow that nigga head off. Don't say that right here on the camera. I'll kill behind that.
Yeah, don't say it. Don't say it in here though. But go ahead.
I got you. My bad. That type of level of disrespect deserves that type of reaction in my book. And I tell people like that you will run across somebody like me, or people I know that don't care about the rules because they live by their own rules. If you're gonna disrespect my people like that, you're gonna suffer the consequences. And I know people like that. I've seen shit go down like that. I'm not just talking. And I'll leave it at that. Now, as far as white privilege, that's a real thing. Any party that's trying to argue against it, they need to hand examine. They didn't march out of the Congress mountains and conquer the world for no reason. They did it to have that type of privilege. And I land my money. And my bad for speaking like that in this room. I just kind of get passionate about myself.
That's cool. And when we speak of white privilege, we saw that happen this week with Hunter Biden. So that was a prime example of what white privilege looks like in this country as well, too. Let me go ahead. I see.
Hey, just real quick on that, what you just said. They just impeached. They just passed a House resolution to impeach Joe Biden too. By the way.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir. 219 votes Republican, 0 votes from the Democrat and no independents voted at all. So there you go.
All right. Let me go.
And they got 2 charges on them too, so that's more than enough to make a case. There you go.
All righty. Let me go ahead and kick it to Rella. Then I'm gonna get to you, DJ and Professor. Anybody else that wants to speak, y'all can go ahead and come up here and raise your hand. So, Rella, go ahead and unmute your mic. How you doing tonight?
Hey, Newstoter. Hey, DJ.
What's
How
up?
you doing?
What's up?
Hey, who else in here? That daggone
Everybody.
What up, Don Mud?
Hello, Professor.
What's up, baby? How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you guys? I definitely wanted to apologize to DJ for last night, and you also, and everybody that was in the space last night.
Really, you had to apologize to me because I know you're passionate about what you say, and so I love you because of who you are. So you don't have to apologize to me. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I wasn't in the space last night, so.
Well, everybody who was there, they know, and I just, I always say this, I have to, as much as I want to hold the accountability for others to make sure that they do no harm, my motto is also to hold myself accountable. So I definitely just wanted to say that the conversation around Umar Johnson, we had it a little heated last night, but I don't think there was anything wrong with what he said. I believe that I don't often agree with him, and I don't, and there are times where I do agree with him with certain things. And last night, after watching his video, I believe that he was on the right track. He was talking to a group of men. He is a man himself. He's a human being, and he has a particular perspective on the community. Everybody's not going to always agree with it. But last night it was sound, or I should say the video that he had with those 3 brothers was sound, because he was having a discussion about the conditions of the community and what role men play in the community. The sad part about it is those men wanted to just focus on only one particular group and not even themselves as they show up. They even went so far as to even say, well, not me. I ain't doing it. I do this, that, and the third. And he had to, bring back into perspective. He's not talking about individualism. I could be the best person in the community, but if everybody in the community, around the community, does not thrive or does not have a sense of morality that allows us to thrive internally, we will implode like that submarine ship. That's what pressure looks like from the inside and the out. I hate to use that scenario, but it is. The stupidity of those who ignore the direction or the functions of knowledge ends up in implosion. And the sad part about it is that we come back to the red herring of, the gender war conversation. Honestly, it's a gender war conversation, but it's not a gender war. It is a war, a battle that we never really wanted to face, men or women. So what we do, we run, we start divesting, we start to, say, oh, well, you're doing this, so why y'all get mad when we react to do this? Everything has a cause and reaction. And if you're not willing to have those discussions amongst the least of you, then how can you be a pillar of a foundation for those who are looking, who are lost, or those who are looking for some direction? Because that podcast was a ask question podcast, answer question podcast dialogue. And the only thing those other 3 brothers could focus on is, as long as the image of the black man is not being painted or demonized, it's the black woman who is the problem. It's the Pookie and Ray Rays. They even went as far as to calling black men who struggle, or black men who are in the lens of maybe there's something financially happened to them, so the family fell apart, or maybe there were Black men who dealt with mental health and they never got the support and assistance they needed, so they didn't know how to take care of the family. Yes, everyone is not always intentionally trying to destroy the Black community. Things do happen, and we are responsible. So if you can't look at that conversation and have a compartmentalization outlook on, this is discussion that Black men must have, because we are about our Father's work. We are about wanting to see the things that we speak about without it having to be the fault of the other. And the same with women. Because someone mentioned last night that he didn't even talk about women, but he actually did. He briefly talked about women without trying to detract the conversation away from what I believe they went there to do. He did. And he said that we both have a responsibility to the conditions of internal conflict of our community. That is the part that I hope people paid attention to. And you take that for what you will. The other thing was the N word. I used to use I used to say nigga, I used to say bitch when I talk to my friends. Excuse me for cussing, but I had to be a little direct so you understand where I'm going. I used to address the people I loved that way because that was my environment. I grew up in Inglewood, California. I lived around gangs. You had to survive. You had to you somewhat become a product of your environment, but it does not mean that you have to be the core decisions of your environment. And we all know who they are and what they are when it counts. If you talk about having relationships with family members who are affiliated, you understand what that means to move furniture when it needs to be moved. But you understand the consequences of those things. A lot of us, people like myself who grew up in a family that was very, very a stronghold in the community, but also had issues and weren't perfect, you understand that we didn't use those terms. My grandmother did not talk to her grandchildren in that way. And if she did talk to her children that way, we didn't hear it. My father didn't talk like that when he would address other men that were around us that were also influential in the community, who were influential in creating football players, pro football players, people who came out of the school I went to and did big things. They didn't talk like that. We heard it, yes, from my generation and maybe the generation before me, but the 60s, 70s, it was not a term of endearment when somebody said it to you. You know how I know? Because when you use the term, you turn around and say brother when you mean an endearment. People who talk like, oh, wait up, my nigga, blah, 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 that's a different culture. That's a different group of people who are picking up a degenerate behavior and trying to tell you that, oh, this is a good thing because we've adopted it. Not everything that we've adopted in our community is right. Just because we say so, and we don't want nobody to tell us not to talk that way. We don't want nobody to say not to talk that way. But if your grandmama told you that she don't like it, if your pop told you, I didn't raise you that way, it would be a whole other conversation. I'm not saying we don't use it, but I'm saying that we do know better, and we do know why and who uses it. We do know the lingo. We do know how the culture operates. So I had to train myself not to walk up to my girlfriends and call them out their name when we in public, because I didn't want nobody calling them something that I wouldn't call them. Because I'm a fighter. You walk up to anybody I know, we fighting. We're coming off everything. So I learned how to train myself, how to be loving, be respectful, and demand that thing back, to start to paint a different level of responsibility by showing it. And I agree with Black Native. a lot of people do use that term, even when they're even talking to their children, cussing at their kids, or they're calling them kids stupid. That's what that term means. It is a derogatory term, no matter how you want to reinvent the wheel. Jay-Z training up a population of people to say, we got to take that word back. We didn't create it. How the hell you take back something you didn't create? You just adopted it and said, this is what we're going to do because we're going to control how this is used. It's still wrong. White privilege? White privilege is exactly what it is. Black native is right. These motherfuckers can go out here and kill their mamas, their sisters, excuse my language, unalived. They can go out here and they can do the most heinous things. And it is almost like you watch them walk down into the sunset. They get to die without ever getting justice, without anyone ever making sure that somebody is held accountable. So you know what I say? I wouldn't put it out as Sean did, but I would say to you, an eye for an eye for the people who have no concern for humanity. And there was a guy that was on TikTok, and he said, when we start tolerating the intolerable, that's when we're going to have a real problem. And that word, the N-word, and the way that we move it, we are trying to create tolerance for things that are becoming intolerable, and there's going to be an implosion. If you don't believe me, walk up to some random black person and say, call them a nigga, and then you don't know them. We don't operate that way. And Bobo proved it because when he left out of here, he called Newstoter brother. He didn't call him a nigga. So that tells me you don't speak that way on a regular. You're choosing to. And you know the difference. Thank you, Newstoter, for allowing me to speak fully.
All right. Well, I'll say this. You definitely got it in there, sister. So shout out to you. I see Bobo with the thumbs down. Bobo, I'll get to you in a second as well, too. We got some hands up, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to move around the room real quick, guys, up in the Jumbotron. We have the YouTube channel up in there. Let's go ahead and see if we can get a couple people to subscribe to the YouTube channel tonight. It is in the middle of the Jumbotron, so if you have not already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you have subscribed, go ahead and retweet it out to your followers. For those that can, support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American-owned news media curation platform today in America. Once again, Newstoter is the largest Black-owned news media curation platform today in America. If you have not been to Newstoter.com, make sure that you visit Newstoter.com daily. Go ahead and see if you can go ahead and bookmark that like you do your favorite white-owned sites, because we know everybody in here goes to a white-owned site daily. So if you can support white-owned sites, then I'm sure you can also support Black-owned sites that definitely support other Black sites. So while we're doing the Google, and we're going here, and we're going there, and we're going to Yahoo, and we're going to the New York Times and New York Post, and we're going to all of the white-owned sites, all the WPIs and everything else, let's go ahead and let's support a Black-owned media curation platform as well, too, that is Black-owned. So definitely, while we're going visiting the white sites, let's make it a daily habit to go ahead and visit Newstoter.com. Once again, that's Newstoter.com. Shout out to all my people on YouTube as well. Nightfall, I see you just got up in the chat, so shout out to you, brother. Shout out to Dark Kent. Shout out to Carolyn and everybody that's over there as well in the YouTube sphere as well, too. For those that don't have a Cash App, you can support us on Venmo or PayPal. That's also up in the Jumbotron. DJ Professor, I want to get to you guys because y'all been waiting for a minute, so I want to hear what y'all got to say. And then, I said, hold on, let me get the Black Pressure. I ain't see Black Pressure down there. Let me get the Black Pressure real quick. Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Hey, News, skip me for a few. I'm just walking in the house, and
okay, we'll come back to you. Let me get to the two co-hosts because y'all been waiting. I want to hear what y'all got to say because we've had a long line of the sisters speaking, so I want to hear what some men got to say now. So go ahead, DJ, and then Professor. You there, DJ? I don't know if DJ's there or not. DJ, you there? Professor, are you there?
I'm here.
Go ahead, Professor.
Okay.
Um, let me say this, and I'm glad everybody's up in the space tonight. There's been some very good opinions here that's been given by everybody. So I love that everybody's coming up here and chiming in on this. So shout out to everybody. Sister No Taxation. I see Sister Trouble up in here now. Sister Rera. Of course, Black Native up in the house. So shout out to all of y'all. Now, I'm going to say this about Dr. Umar. He gave something that was, and I said earlier, it was a very valid opinion. Very much so. But he also, a lot of this, about a man, also has lied to people about this so-called school. Can I bring that up in here? I want to hear it, family, because I'm bringing it to you now.
Well, now, Professor, only thing people gonna say is that the school don't have anything to do with what he's talking about. So you know that.
Yeah, I know they gonna say that. They gonna say that, but it gonna come to the credibility. See, I'm bringing this to y'all because I'm telling y'all about credibility. And let's say this is a public opinion of law, right? Or let's say it was in a court of law. He has no credibility here. So what I'm bringing to you folks is about credibility. And that is, he has none. So therefore, he lied about this so-called school thing. And then let's look at the whole Frederick Douglass situation, right? Said that Frederick Douglass was a descendant of him. Well, he lied about that. See, this is what I'm talking about. You're a two-time loser. There you go, fam. That's all I had to say. I'm going to land my plane. I want to see what everybody else has to say because I put it to y'all now. Y'all ain't going to be able to argue with me. I'm telling y'all ain't going to be able to argue with a brother up in this space tonight. I got you.
All right, Professor. Let me see if DJ there. DJ, are you there? I wonder if DJ may be up in the matrix himself or whatever, but we'll come back. We'll come back to DJ. Black Pressure, you ready, or you still want to wait for a minute?
Yeah, News, give me like 5-10 minutes. I'll be ready. I'm trying to get situated.
Okay, I'll come back to you. I got you. I'll come back.
Go ahead, do your thing. Go ahead.
Let me get to no taxation. Let me get to no taxation. I want to get to some of the new speakers. No taxation. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, News and DJ, if you're there, Professor Dana, Black Native, Trouble, I am, all my peeps, everybody in the room, hello. It's so hard to talk about Umar for me because as a psychologist, we have a lot of hope with him because we have very, very few Black male psychologists, and they're so necessary and needed. And he did he uncovered a lot of stuff when he was out there in Philly and working as a psychologist and doing the testing and the kind of testing that he did on young Black boys in school. You have to have a doctorate to do that. You can't even buy the equipment, the testing measurements, or anything unless you have a doctorate. You have to be licensed to get it. So he does have his doctorate. And we had a lot of promise when the research came out, when he uncovered the things that he uncovered, because we have been speaking about it for a long, long time. And so, we were able to fight the white psychologists to say, we told you, and this is what we want to do. Having said that, I don't know where he went straight. He wasn't even talking about he was over there with Frederick Douglass people. He wasn't even saying that at the time. So we're going back a lot of years. But anyway, he lost his way. That's the way I see it. He lost his way, and it might be because he saw so much pain with young Black boys that maybe it did something to his mind, because it can. You stay in the business long enough, you see enough trauma, you see enough stuff going on. You have to fight the systems that are being operated, especially in the field of psychology, by white women and men, and it gets tiring. and you burn out fast. So I don't know what happened to him, but anyway, it happened. And a clock is wrong twice a day. You know, and the bit that I heard, and I didn't hear everything, but the bit that I heard, I did not disagree with him. I will say this though. I will say this because I'm not y'all's generation, and I can only go back by what I know. The fight in this country, and I say this all the time, the fight in this country is the white man versus the black man. The white man versus the black man. White man's biggest fear is the black man. So yes, the rightful place has to be taken. And news, if you remember, I said what took the wind out of y'all in one of the spaces, and you said the crack epidemic, which led to mass incarceration, and it did take the wind out of black men specifically. And we have to look at that. We have to lay it all out on the table and look at it in whole and not in part. And so there's a remnant left and of black men, which means that the supportive black men in the community, like when I grew up, they did watch out for all the kids in the neighborhood, and you can't do this if you don't do that. And I'm gonna tell your daddy, does your mama know, and all that kind of stuff. That has to come back, because if it doesn't come back, we're doomed. Because the fight in this country is always going to be the white man versus the black man, and the black man is the white man's biggest fear. It's their biggest fear. So scare them and take your rightful place and lead us down to where we need to go, because they're making us think that we're sitting on top of the mountain, and maybe we need to get down off the mountain and go down there and fight just a little bit, and then climb back up. Because, like I said, crack and mass incarceration did a number on you all's generation. That's for your parents, for you all. It wiped out an entire generation of black men, and there's only a remnant left. And you all have to take the leading position. Why? Because the fight in this country is always and forever will be the white man versus the black man, and I'm gonna leave it there.
All right, thank you, No Taxation. I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and get Black Native. I know you had dropped down and you came back up, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you go ahead and get it in. Let me unmute your mic.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't know, Professor. He be starting trouble, good trouble, but you be starting trouble. You're welcome. You're welcome. But yeah, we could deal with his credibility. Yeah, the brother's school, he been trying to get his school since 2009. He got the building. He just saying he ain't opened up the school, but he is a licensed psychologist. We have to give the brother credit for that. And I just want to know, what did he say? Even let's throw out that he lied, that he was Frederick Joe's mother's family. He didn't went to the grave site and put flowers. We know he was lying. But as far as the message, so if the person is not credible, but the message is important, you just throw away the message. Is that what you're saying, Professor? Because what he said, from what I read, I didn't hear the video. I just read the article. And he said that, black men should be the pillars of their community. What's wrong with that?
And let me just say, I agree what he says, that black men, we know black men, they have to lead. Black men are going to have to, in order for us to get up out of the situation we at, we know that black men are going to have to lead and be the ones that's going to actually lead the black community back to prominence, as much as we can. One thing he said, and I saw the video, most of that video, the guys, and I know Rella was saying that they were pushing back and this and that, but he himself at one time said that systematic racism also played a part in the actual deterioration, of relationships between black men and black women. Now, here's the thing, and we did a space a couple nights ago on the Monahan report back in 1965. In 1965, 72% 75%, I believe, of black fathers was in the house. Okay. 75% of black fathers in 1965. Something had to go horribly wrong that you had almost 80% of black fathers in the house in the 60s, and then come the 70s after all of the liberation fights and the fights for freedom and this and that or whatever. Then all of a sudden these black fathers just slowly started leaving. Something's not right about that. Did these black fathers one day just wake up and say, you know what? I don't want to be a married man. I don't want to have a relationship with this woman no more. I'm gonna just neglect my kids. I'm just gonna leave her. I've had enough. Let me go and sow my royal oaks. Let me just go ahead and be a rolling stone. Like something happened along the way that you had 75% of black fathers that was in the house, and all of a sudden, within a couple decades, now you got households that's reversed and flipped. Where now it's 70 to 75% single family homes. Something happened. Was it all the black man's fault in this? Right, real quick, let me go ahead and say this real quick. Was it all black man's fault that all of a sudden the complete reversal just went? And if you go back to the 50s and the 40s and the 30s and the 20s and the early 1900s, you had 85 to 90% of black fathers in the home. At one time, you had 90% of them. So what happened along the line? Something that happened along the line would have had to be systematic. I don't think these black fathers just woke up one day and say, you know what? We're all going to leave. We're just going to start this just mass exodus from our wives, from our women, from our responsibilities. We're just going to go out and leave. Something went along the lines that split the black families up. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that black men don't bear a brunt of the responsibility, because they absolutely do, as do black women. I'm going to say that again, as do black women. But do I think it's entirely the black man's fault? No. Do I think it's entirely the black woman's fault? No. I think that it's something along the line where both of them played a part, but I think a bigger part of it was played by the damn government. Because you see, at the time, hold on real quick. At the time, after the civil rights movement in the 60s, we started seeing major strides being put up by black people in this country. Then we started seeing civil rights leaders mysteriously getting their heads blown off. Or either you had the Black Panthers being raided by the FBI. Then we started seeing a mass, and forget the 80s with the crack. Even before crack came, you started seeing just dope being dumped off in black neighborhoods left and right. Factor in now you have integration. You have all kind of different things happening. You got feminism, you got integration. You no longer have segregation, where you're starting to see a bunch of different things happen in the black community that years before had never happened before. Now everything is changing. The world is changing. Everything is changing. You're starting to see jobs that black men had as they was building the middle class up. These jobs are now being outsourced across the world, losing that. Up there in the Midwest, all these car manufacturing places, gone. A lot of these blue collar jobs that black men had in the country, gone. We talk about food deserts. What about job deserts? Now you're no longer able to even provide for your own family anymore. So a lot of things that happen in the black community was out of the reach of black men and black women. But yes, black men and black women both bear some responsibility in that as well too. So what Dr. Umar was saying in terms of black men are going to have to go ahead and they're going to have to stand up, of course. But then let's also factor in, like they're saying on YouTube, you had the damn Vietnam War. You had black men taken and put on the front line more than any other group in this damn war. When they come back after serving the country, they're last in the damn line for any and everything else. You had civil rights that was supposed to be for them that's not working for them. You had a lot of different things that played a part in damn black men, mass incarceration, everything else. You got people coming back from war that they're drug addicts or they're alcoholics, and they're not getting the kind of help they need to get back on their feet when they come after serving for their country. Mentally, they're seeing their friends and stuff blown to smithereens. All kind of different things play a part in what happened to the deterioration of the black relationship and black men and black women. There's not one set thing. And yes, black men do need to stand up. But like I said, let's also be for real too. When you had 90% of black men in the households, when you had 80% of black men in the households, when you had 75% of black men in the household, we still had major issues going on in this country. We still were the poorest people in this country. We still had no rights, everything, this and that or whatever. So I don't, what he's saying that we do need to go ahead and reach out to the young brothers and stuff like that in the community. He's right about that. You have mentoring programs. We need more mentoring programs. We need to go ahead for those that don't have fathers, we may have to fill in and be the fathers for them, the uncles, the friends, or whatever we have to be to go ahead and help them out as much as possible. But it's not just one simple thing is that, hey, you know what? Everything that went wrong. See, the black women don't want to be blamed for everything that went wrong in the black community either. That's just human nature. Black women don't want to sit up here and say, well, it was feminism why y'all started changing, or it was because you started going to college and that's why you started changing, or it was welfare. You went ahead and you took a check. That's why you started changing. See, no one group of people wants to be considered 100% to blame for what went on. We know damn well the government has been targeting black men from the time that they got out of chains in this country. From the time that they was allowed to vote in this country, telling them who they could vote for, stripping everything they could. We can't keep y'all as slaves anymore. So then we'll do another slavery. We'll put your ass in prison, because legally that is the only kind of slavery that can exist. Now we got multi-billion-dollar damn prison industries in this country, private prison industries. The biggest the United States has more people in prison than any other major nation in the world. The biggest damn prison country there is to be. And guess who's the face of this prison population? Not black women, not Latino women, not white men, but black men. And it don't tell me that this wasn't done on purpose here. So yeah, there's a lot of different things and there's a lot of fingers that can be pointed and this and that or whatever. But let's not act like that. Black men, like I say, you don't have almost 80% of black men in the house one day and all of a sudden they just magically disappear and it's just all on them. Something went awry there. Something went wrong there. Black Nate, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you, I was going to tell you this, because being Black Native, we have had conversations about this very topic with black men and black women. What happened back in back during them times where all of a sudden black men were out of the household. And I remember Black Native said it had something to do with black men wanting to move on to white women. I think that was her theory. I don't know where she got that theory from. But I told her, I said, no. I said it had something to do with the fact that black women wanted to move more closer towards the feminazi movement, which was with white women. And she said, no, it had more to do with y'all wanting to be with white women. So me and her have never agreed on that perspective. So I just want to throw that in there.
And you was one of them, Professor, because you probably came in this space and said you was with white women. I mean, you just proved my point.
But here's the thing.
Am I lying? And that wasn't the only thing. I said that was part of it because they opened it up. They create where you can have interracial relationships, and a lot of black men felt that white coochie was better than black coochie. I guess I don't know. But
now the vast majority of black men I knew, and you know what I'm saying. I started elementary school in the 80s. The mid 80s, the vast majority. It's not until now, into the last 15 years or so, I've seen more interracial kids. I don't remember going to school. You might have seen one interracial kid. You might have seen two. You might have seen three. You never saw what you saw. So, and we are the kids of the baby boomers. So most of the people, there were no mixed kids in my family. In my neighborhood, it was all black neighborhood. There was no mixed kids. You might have saw one mixed kid here or there, whatever. So, that's not to say that, you had people in Hollywood and entertainment and stuff like that had white wives and white kids and stuff like that or whatever. But the vast majority of black men, even after the civil rights movement, the vast majority of them was still married to black women. So it wasn't, and that's not to say, you had more black men because they had more of an option. So in that sense, Black Native, you did have a percentage of Black men that say, hey, you know what? I can finally get access to this white woman. I'm happy now. Let me go ahead and do this or do that or whatever. But that was a very minute percentage of Black men in the country. If you were to look at the actual interracial dating and marriage and from 1970 to 1980, you're not talking about a huge number, not enough to the point that, hey, still not enough to say, you know what, we go from 75% in 1965 to what? That number just, it just don't add up. There was a number of things, a number of factors that played a part. And
that was one of the things. Also, you had the Vietnam War, you had the crack era, you had all of these, governmental, how would I say, interference in in the Black communities to destroy it. We all know what happened. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why Professor, I'm gonna call him what you call a snow bunny lover.
But Black Native, let me point this one point out right here. Black Native, let me point this one let me point this one thing out real quick, Black Native.
Nobody love over here talking shit.
But real quick, Black Native, let me point this one thing out that you just said. Now you said that, yeah, the snow bunny thing and the Black women and the Black men, a percentage of them, and I agree with you, a percentage of them went to white women. I say a small percentage. Would you at least agree with me on this right here? Also, you had a small percentage or percentage of Black women that went feminine as well too. Would you agree with that?
I would agree to that. I'm just addressing Professor since he brought it up, and that's like the pot calling the kettle black. I'm addressing Professor, but I would agree with you though. I'm not gonna say that it's so many different factors that have played a role in the destruction of the Black family. But what we need to do is we should at this point in the game, we should kind of see what happened, sit back, analyze what happened, and what can we do now or for the future to change the trajectory of what's happening with our community. And that's what I want. I would want to see. You know what I'm saying? Because we're like Gen X's, but we got Gen Z, and the people after that. That's our future, right there. The ones coming up. So we got to get this shit together. Black boys need Black male role models. We cannot say they don't. They need it. Whether it be an uncle or cousin. The man in the neighborhood who, is just there to give, where they can reach out, where they could, because like they said, women can't raise men. We could do but so much, but we can't teach them how to be a man. So they need male role models. That's all I'm saying.
And I agree 100% with you, Black Native. I'm gonna get it around the room because I said we got the hands back up. But I agree 100%. I don't believe it's one thing in particular. I believe there were many factors, and there were a lot of factors. And I believe a lot of these factors, and I will always say that, came from the actual government themselves. The United States government never stops. It's always plotting. It's always scheming. And yes, did we go ahead and did we make it easier for them in some cases? Yeah, we did. But they were the ones that came up with a lot of this stuff right here to go ahead and start it, because they've always been about the deterioration of Black family. Let's keep it a buck. They couldn't even leave you on damn plantations intact. So why would they want to see you? Why would they want to see you off the plantation? All this stuff. Well, we care about you. Don't care about the Black family. You've never cared about the Black family. So yeah, I would agree with you 100% on that. We definitely need to go ahead and do what we can to go ahead and rebuild as much as possible. It ain't gonna be an easy with so many different things, because we got so many different things now in the community that we didn't even have 50, 60 years ago, that it's not going to be an easy solution, but it's something that can be done as well too. So let me go ahead. I know we got some hands up. DJ, I tried to get to you. Well, let me get to Black Pressure. Black Pressure, you there now?
Yeah, I mean, if DJ wants to go, he can go. But I'm ready if he's not ready.
Go ahead, big dog. No, I want to get a phone call from the neighbor or whatever. Something happened. So, but go ahead, though.
Yeah. So, like I always say, what's up, Black family? It's been a while, man. News has been crazy at the job, so I hadn't been among the family for a minute. But, yeah, I How's everybody doing?
Good to have you back. Good. I know you be in the spaces, but good to have you back.
Good to see you. Thank you, kind sir. So I'll say this. You know, news always say I'm never gonna tell you how to run your space. You know, you obviously know what you're doing, but the Umar Johnson on relationships, that would take so much of my energy tonight. I think you do well if you have like a 2 or 3 part space on that. I think you probably crash out Twitter spaces with that. But what I'll do is I'll address the N word for tonight. Kind of something that's, you know, near and dear to my heart, because I'll say this. I use the word. It is a part of my vocabulary. And I know the proper social settings to use the word in, but the word is very much so a part of my vocabulary. That is how me and my homeboys, me and my brother, we communicate with each other. That word is, I guess, a proverbial beacon of light as far as how Black men in my social setting communicate with each other. But I'll say this, getting into it. If you let's start like this. Let's juxtapose some of the social ills in the Black community, and I'll name a few, just to get my illustration clear. Police terrorism, mass incarceration. One of the things that's really important to me, the infant mortality rate of Black women, school to prison pipeline. Definitely, we have a 2-tier justice system that exists, and I'll pose it like this: would ceasing to use the N-word, would that remedy any of those social ills that I just named? Like if tomorrow everybody had God power and we can stop every Black person from using the N-word, will white supremacy say, hey, okay, man, y'all got me. You know what? I'm going home. Y'all win. Y'all don't use the N-word no more. I quit. We all know that's not going to happen. You could look at it from this point of vantage too. If our ancestors that were stuffed into the guts of slave ships, were they using the N-word? Or you could look at it from this point of vantage. Look at it, like I said earlier, the infant mortality rate of Black women in the United States, which is a first world country, meaning that the United States provides medical care for the most wealthiest people down to people that live in government subsidized housing. We all have access to medical care, right? And Black women find themselves, having the #1 infant mortality rate in America. If we quit using the N-word tomorrow, would that social ill cease to exist? So, you know, in a nutshell, what I'm saying is we're making too big of a deal about that word. That's like killing a housefly with a machine gun. That shouldn't even be anything to me, in my personal opinion, why I'm so passionate about Black people. That shouldn't even be a conversation, considering all the things that we're up against. That shouldn't be anything that crosses our mind as that word in our vocabulary. So like I said, I know a lot of people want to talk, so I'm gonna cut it short, mute up and listen.
Thank you, Black Pressure. You're right. I mean, I use the word and I know I shouldn't use it, but you know, out of habit I do use it sometimes. So, you know, it's not gonna stop the ills of the country. That's true as well too. But you know, it is what it is, man. Like I say, growing up, at one time when you heard another Black person call another Black person a nigga, it was always in an insulting way. It was never one of brotherhood or friendship. I used to hear older Black men say it all the time. Look at this young, ignorant nigga right here coming up and down the street, up here pimping and bobbing like he's something, like some kind of goddamn monkey and stuff. Like, it was said with a lot of ill will behind it. Like, and then within 10 years or so, the whole term became, you know, just totally flipped around. Like, it's almost like the word a woman nowadays. Back in the day, calling a female a bitch was like one of the lowest things you can call them. Now you hear females come up to other, hey, what up, bitch? Hey, what up? You know, so it's like, yo, like you hear women calling each other the B word now. Like, wow.
Hey, News, I'll say this too real quick about the N-word. As far as in, you know, my existence on this earth, it's either been used And I'm talking about myself, friends, family, co-workers, associates. It's always been used either with a backdrop of humor or as a greeting. That's all the only experience that I'm talking about as far as among fellow Black people. That's the only way I've ever seen it used. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, you and I are both sports fans, so we could be watching the game and the wide receiver is wide open. And dude hit him, quarterback hit him in the hands, and he drives. He said, "Man, this nigga garbage, man." That's not disrespectful. It literally is saying that I guess it's showing frustration with a play that just happened, or like I say, as a greeting. I said it today. I was like, I had a coworker of mine, and he said, "Man, you know so and so." Dude, he mentioned the dude I hadn't seen in years. I'm like, "Man, that's my nigga, man." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, what he up to? That's the only way, as far as my personal experiences, it's ever been used.
And I feel you. Like I say, but and I might be a few years older than you. I can still remember, like I say, older Black men. It became a term of almost endearment, or like you said, how you say, "Oh, I can't believe this nigga right here did something like so stupid." But then, like I say, I'm old enough to remember at the same time that you had Black men, especially older Black men at the time, saying, "Well, this is one ignorant nigga right here. He needs to sit his ignorant Black ass down right here. He is a complete embarrassment." Like, it was a word that was scoring. I put even this point. I was one time, I was about 5 or 6 years old, and I was on the playground. I called somebody a nigga. My mama came outside like, "I know that ain't you, come. Did you call somebody a nigga?" I was like, no, because she was gonna whoop my ass right out there on that playground if I had said yeah. So I made sure I told her no, even though yeah, I did say it because I was calling another kid, and like I said, couldn't be no older, maybe than 5 years old. But this was the mid '80s, maybe even the early '80s. I might have been 4 years old or something like that. But I called another kid a nigga, and my mom came right out there. She heard my voice. She wanted to see if I was going to be big enough to say I said it, and I told her no, I didn't say it, because had I said it, she was going to come right out there on that playground with that belt and whoop my ass out there in front of all them kids. So like I say, at the time, that nigga caught on with Black people in the early '90s. That's when it became fashionable to start calling people nigga and stuff like that. Just like the term dog. I was in elementary school, and people started saying, "Hey, what up, dog? What up, dog?" Down south, especially Florida, Georgia, these areas down here, you know, because we had a bunch of New York cats that came down here and went to middle school and high school with us, and they're like, "Why y'all call each other dog? Like, what are you calling each other dog? That don't make any sense or whatever. Why y'all saying dog or whatever?" So, yeah, the word nigga, like I say, if you look at some of those old shows from the '70s, you get to catch an episode of Good Times with James Evans that's telling somebody, "Nigga, you crazy," or George Jefferson saying, "Nigga, you crazy." It wasn't a term of endearment. It was a term of, hey, like, you didn't, the nigga word, like I say, nigga, we put the nigga emphasis on the rap culture, but it was really the black exploitation movies that really pushed the word nigga out there. They pushed the nigga word out there, and they pushed the hustler aspect out there as well too. And we're gonna be honest about it. But I feel what you're saying, though, Black Pressure. Let me go ahead and move it around the room. And I'm gonna be honest, y'all, I kind of lost the order of things, but I know Volvo is next. Volvo. Oh, go ahead, DJ. You was actually next. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, if people got their hands up, I'm in there like tweeting something, so they got their hands up. Let other folks talk. I can go later. It don't matter.
Go ahead, Volvo. You got it.
Yeah, I just want to say, we gotta. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you good, bro?
Yeah, we gotta keep it in context. You know what I mean? As long as we keep it in context, we all understand what we saying. We understand news. So if I say, oh, what's up, my nigga? I ain't saying nothing wrong. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta stop. And let me say this too. It's just a fact. The word nigger is in the Bible. It's in the Bible. A lot of black people don't know that. That's in the Bible. White people, the same way they doing with the woke term, they turned it into a slur. That's in the Bible. The people that were called nigger in the Bible, those were men of God. Those were men of prestige. Those were men of these were prophets and priests. These were men. These were smart men. The white folks turned it into something bad. how they always do. You know what I mean? That's just, I just want to get that on the record. You can look that up for yourself. So I believe it's in the book of Acts. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I know it's Acts 13. It's in the Bible. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing. It's in your Bible. I can't come to your house or look on your phone and make it appear. So, you know, that's just to keep that in, you know, just to put the record. As far as with the Umar Johnson thing, what he was saying, I'm not sure if this the same video, but he was saying that they were saying that black women don't got a lot to choose from and all that. Is that the video that you was talking about?
This was Umar's latest video. He came out with last Friday. I don't remember if he said that part because I didn't watch it all. I watched most of it.
Saying that black men, black women don't got a lot to choose from, and that's our fault and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was saying a lot of stuff was our fault. Basically, I can't remember if he said that part, but he said a lot though. Yeah, he said a lot.
Yeah, well, from what I seen, the clip that I seen, that women are the gatekeepers as far as sex go. You know, I can't throw you down and throw you on the bed and stick my stuff in you. You know, it's some women I would like to do. You know what I mean? But she gotta embrace me. She gotta offer herself to me. You know what I mean? He in the video I seen, he was saying that it's our responsibility to take care. It's our responsibility.
That's true. He did say that, Vovo. He was saying that, yeah, that we're the reason if they get pregnant, basically it's our responsibility.
I can't take responsibility for somebody I'm not having sex with. Now it is my job to mentor a young man if I see him going the wrong way, but it ain't my job to raise him. I'm sorry, that might be y'all might not agree with that, but what I supposed to do, I'll be raising the whole community. Now it is my job to say, hey brother, you going the wrong. I do that every day. Every day, I swear, it's like almost every day. I see the dude standing in front of the store. I'll just throw it out there. Hey y'all know that truck that it only takes 4 weeks to get a CDL. You know what I mean? When they see me with my work clothes on, they be like, what's up? Huh?
Oh, my bad. My mic on. I'm over.
Yeah, they be like, what's up, OG? I see you driving the truck. Yeah, man, you know, take 4 weeks. You know, we hiring. You know what I mean? You don't need to be standing in front of the store. You know, we starting off at 1,000. I do that all the time. But it ain't my job to move in with you, raise this man kids, and all that. That's not my job. That is just not my job. If I'm wrong for that, then I'm wrong for that. You know what I mean? Let me say this too. Black women choose the wrong men. There's some good black men out here. There's a lot of single black men out here that don't got no kids, that got good jobs. You know what I mean? But I done heard black women say this. Now I'm gonna get a little intense here. I done heard black women say, I don't want to fuck with that dude because he got a little dick. I done heard black women say, I don't want to fuck with that dude because he ugly. Because he corny. I don't want to mess with that dude because he too nice. I heard that before. He's too nice. She want to go fuck with the bad boy. This is my last point, and then I'm going to close with this. When I was in the streets, right, I remember I was in my early 20s. It was this chick I was messing with. She had a dude that was working in a factory. He was busting his ass. She had a baby. He moved her into the apartment. Used to take this ain't even his baby. He raising this little boy as his son, taking him boy to school before he go to work. You know, he just wanted her to just get her GED and then start trying to work towards getting a good job. She used to be sneaking us in the house, sneaking us in this man's house. This was a good man. This is a good young man. He get up every day, go to work, paying all the bills. He just wanted her to get herself together. He taking care of this other man's child. She liked it us because we was the dope boys. Because we was, and you know that always rubbed me the wrong way. You know, that's one of the regrets that I got in my life. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have had no business in that man's house. You know what I mean? But she was sneaking us in the house because we was the cool guys. You know what I mean? So don't if she lay down with the wrong one, that's on her. That ain't on the black community. That ain't on that ain't on us. That ain't on the black man. You got to learn how to keep your legs closed. I land my plane.
Hey, Sean, go ahead. I'm sorry. Hey, Sean, go ahead and unmute your mic, man.
All right. Yeah, let me apologize again. I feel like wasn't adequate enough. What I said was, reacting out of rage because I never heard what Fat Joe said about our people. What I said shouldn't have been said the way it was said. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Bobo, you crazy, man. I don't think Umar was speaking on a black woman's, vagina management. I think he's speaking more on once all that's said and done, what do we do with the innocent young boys? And we don't talk about the girls enough. Young girls, there's consequences too. What do we do with that? I often look at the statistics of marriage and how people break up, and it just seems like the institution is really messed up, and we need to rework that. And I see I call it rap and hoe culture on both men and women's side, where we just want to sleep and fun fuck all day. Excuse my language. And the consequences of that is a lot of out of wedlock children, and the men are not vested to be around for that child because the woman he dealt with wasn't even really in a relationship with him, so it's there. So what's the consequences of that? We can't shame people to get back to marriage. You can't shame people to get back to acting, Christ or whatever. So I feel like we need to come up with a different solution. We need to update our concept of family. We need to broaden our sense of what family really is. And I feel you, Bobo, man. Ain't what I'm saying? Ain't nobody asked you to go move in with a single mom. And what you're doing I appreciate you commend what you're doing. You're doing your part. I think Umar was more speaking to on a societal, collective level. What type of industry institutions are we putting in place as black men, which is our responsibility to kind of deal with the consequences of these young black boys not having the proper guidance and socialization that they should have. I really think we should bring back rites of passage. I think we need schools for boys to teach them how to be husbands. We need school for boys to teach them how to be men in general. We need school for boys to teach them about politics, leadership, all that stuff they're not getting in school. But mainly, how to deal with a woman on a proper basis, how to communicate properly. Like for married men, because I'm married, I'm not perfect. I'll be messing up with me and my wife. It's certain things that I can teach a young black boy how to address a woman. When a woman gets upset, the best thing you can do is not be upset with her because it's not going to help the situation. And stuff like that. I think in my opinion, I think Umar is talking more on an institutional level. What can we do? What kind of institutions can we build? Like, I know, for example, like Boys and Girls Club or something geared towards making sure our young black men have a shot of growing up to be assets to our community. And I land.
All right. Real quick, guys, again, up in the Jumbotron, we're trying to get some subscribers to that YouTube channel. It's right in the center. So if you have not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Also, we're trying to get a couple donations, $1 or $2 tonight for tonight's program. $sign Newstoter, $sign Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. If you have $1, even $1 or $2 that you would like to contribute to tonight's program, and to the platform, not just to the actual Twitter space, but to the platform as well, too. $sign Newstoter, $sign Newstoter. We need the support of our people to go ahead and reach the masses. We're doing our job in the black media, but we need our people to actually support us as well, too. So $sign Newstoter, $sign Newstoter. For those that do not have Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal in the Jumbotron. For those on YouTube, we have the Cash App, of course, on the actual broadcast, and we have the Venmo and PayPal up in the actual description on the YouTube channel as well. Too. Shout out to Black Pressure. Thank you for your contribution. Let me go ahead real quick and get to I'm going to go ahead and get to no taxation. Rella, I got you after that. Dane, I see you back up here as well too. So let me go ahead and get to no taxation. Go ahead and unmute your mic. No taxation.
I appreciated that a soliloquy that you just had, Newstoter, and I hope I sparked that because what you said was very, very true. We have to understand, and I really want to drive this point home that white supremacy never stops trying to decimate us and genocide us. Never. They never stop. They plan well in advance. And we have to understand that every generation has to understand that until reparations, that's what's going to break it. That's the only thing that's going to break it. That's why we fight so hard. And I know that sounds like a far-fetched idea to some, but you have to dig into the research. You have to see what a real reparations plan looks like and what it encompasses, because it is more than just a check, but a check counts too. And so I'm glad that you said that. Here's the thing. Black natives said it. So what do? We have got to come up with some plans for black men specifically, because this is what we're talking about, to take their rightful place in your generation. And I think it's happening now. I really do believe that. I think it's happening now. I know you all were decimated, and they threw white supremacy threw a lot at you all, but no more than any other generation. Every generation has to seek its own way to freedom, and we got to get that. The fight in this country, the only fight in this country for black folks, is the white man against the black man. Why is it the black man? Because if he takes you all out, he can take everybody else out too. He can take the woman out, he can take the kids out, he can take the grandmothers out, he can take the uncles out, he can take everybody else out. He got to get rid of you all first. You all stand in the way, you're frontline soldiers. And that's why we have to keep you all on the front line. And is it a tough job? Yes. But we have your backs. So you're not out there by yourself. You're just out front by yourself. Because he's afraid of you. He ain't scared of me. He wasn't scared of me when I was 20, 25 and acting bad in the streets. Okay? He was always afraid of you all. And he's going to always be afraid of you all. And if you don't believe me, please go back and read the ISIS Papers by Frances Cress Welsing. She laid it all out. She's a doctorate of psychiatry. She studies the brain. And she studied white folks' brains. Okay? And she is the one to tell you all the ins and the outs and what it's about. And then read everybody else. But get that foundation. You are absolutely correct. White supremacy decimated you all. That's why the black family looks the way it looks now. And that's why I said there's only a remnant left. I tell you, I always say the same things and I repeat the same things. The other thing I'm going to tell you is, and this has a lot to do with the N-word, get rid of dead weight. So them niggas that are sagging their pants, and I don't mind a little sagging, but if you showing your whole ass as a man, what is you doing? You worse than the women out here showing their ass. Ain't no difference between the women and the men showing their ass. It's all the same thing. That's dead weight. If you can't bring them along, if they can't pull their pants up, and I'm using that as as the euphemism, okay? But for people that have that mentality, that prison mentality, okay, it's okay to go to prison, they think. That's where all your friends are. You're going on vacation. That's a place where they take away your Sundays. If you can't bring those men along, leave them, because they're dead weight. And you all's generation is going to have to be the first one to cut away dead weight, and it's going to be hard. But it has to be done, because you can't carry them anymore. White supremacy is too hard to fight now. It's a hard fight. See, they used to have the guns and the hoses and the dogs and all that kind of stuff, and they still probably got all that. But what they have now for you all is far more sinister and cloaked than what they had for us. And we picked up the pieces from the Vietnam War. We know that we have homeless men on the street that have trauma with a big T and a little t, just from the Vietnam War. There were more black men in the Vietnam War than there were whites. And they decimated my generation with that. And we had to deal with that. The other things, the heroin and all that kind of stuff too. But, every generation has got to fight their own way to freedom. And white supremacy is going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at you because every generation gets stronger. And so you all are stronger than my generation. And that's not to say that you can't, that you have to withstand. There are some days you're going to be tired. You go home, you sit down, you close the blinds and don't pay attention to nobody. And when you need to do that, because you have to have your wits about you. You have to have all of your thinking skills. Every time you leave your home, you have to look at your front, back, and sides. And in some places, you don't even leave your home. You can die in your bed asleep or sitting on your sofa watching television and eating ice cream. See? And, they used to just blow us up. They used to just firebomb us. So you could hear it coming through the window and we could run. But these days, you all don't have that. And so you're up against a really, really, really formidable enemy. But never forget that people do have your back. Black women have your back. Young teens, use them. They need to be taught too how to get on the front lines. The young men, and I don't want to call them men because they're not men; they're teens. But they have to be taught, and you got to catch them when they're young. You got to catch them when they're young. They're not going to listen to me because I'm too old and I'm a woman. They're only going to listen to people your age and a man, and that's just the way the game goes. And so I just want to thank you for what you said, News, because it was important. And I want to thank Black Native for coming in behind you and saying what else is important. So now what do we do? See, that's where we're at. And I hope that you all are using this space. And I know Rella apologized. I don't feel like she had anything to apologize for because I was in that space and I appreciated what she said because it was the truth. And she didn't tell no lie. But I'm going to say this. I hope that the Newstoter family specifically does not fall out behind this conversation because that's what it is. It's a conversation. It's a meeting of the minds. And so let's remember that and to stay united in that and work through the kinks. And I'm going to leave it there.
Thank you, No Taxation. Let me go ahead and give it to Rella. Rella, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you. No taxation, everybody in the space. Like I said, you can always tell a people who is going through, they're going through the process of formation or evolving. Because as soon as you apply pressure, you're going to have people who are comfortable, people who are, they would rather stay stagnant and make all kinds of excuses than forge forward. In the Bible, Acts 13:1, Niger is not the same as Niggr. And again, nobody in here tonight is going to make the change to stop using. It's still the same. It does not. It's not pronounced. It's not pronounced the way that you are interpreting it.
No, that's not all the way accurate.
It is. You can prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, and send me the information. It is not pronounced. It's not the same pronunciation. That was not his name. His name was not Nigger. His name was Niger. Niggr.
That wasn't even his name. That wasn't even his name. So you just, man.
Okay, all right.
That
Okay.
wasn't even his name.
Again, we're gonna agree to disagree.
It was Barnabas and Simeon.
Barnabas and Simeon, and they were talking about Niger.
That wasn't their name. That wasn't their
Barnabas and Simeon were prophets, and so was Niger. Again,
no,
if you're going to tell me something,
it's ridiculous.
Listen. Well, I don't have to argue with you. I don't have to argue with you about it. You got your interpretation. I have mine. That's fine. If that's what you believe. But you're not going to tell me in spelling, Niggr is the same as Nigr. That's not the same.
We speak a bastard's language called English. I'll leave it at that.
But that's fine. And if you want to use that terminology to convince yourself that the behavior that you're going to continue to display because you're grown, that is your business. No one's going to sit here and try to convince you otherwise. But I know for a fact, no one is going to have the conversation about bringing their kids around men who believe that these are the ways that we want to teach our boys to present themselves.
Okay, real quick, I walked off for a second. So what happened? I'm sorry. I say
she just Googled something real quick when I said
I didn't Google anything. What are you talking about?
It didn't make a fool of herself. That was all that was.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, Rella.
So I get to be called a fool.
Go ahead. Yeah, let's not. Yeah, let's not call anybody a fool because that is an insult. So let's not go there with the name calling. Definitely Volvo. Don't call anybody a fool. Nobody wants to be called a fool. A fool is one of the biggest insults you can call somebody. So let's not call. Yeah, you can stick your thumb down, bro. But I'm sure if I called you a fool or somebody else called you a fool in here, you have a problem with it. So let's not do that. I walked off for a second and I came back and I just heard a little bit of commotion. So I wasn't sure exactly what happened, but go ahead, Rella.
Thank you. And all I'm saying again, you can tell when people have a problem because you just apply a little pressure and challenge them to do something different. And then they'll start to say, oh, no, and I'm going to make up all these excuses while I'm going to keep doing the things that I'm doing. That's your business. But for the rest of the people who do want to grow and create community, ain't nobody using that term as a term of endearment. And we proved it moreover tonight.
Just because you know not everyone thinks like you, right? You know the world doesn't have to think like you.
Hey, pressure, real quick. Let her go ahead. Let her go ahead.
It's my turn to talk. It's me. I am talking from my perspective. I'm not denouncing anyone else's. If you're going to do what you do what you do. But if we're talking about from the lens of what Dr. Umar was talking about with them brothers that was on that panel, it was a generalized discussion about raising up the next generation. And looking at the ways that we actually operate and communicate. If you're telling me that you're going to be somebody's big brother, I get it. Not everybody is meant to be somebody's uncle, big brother, father figure. Some of y'all are not equipped to do it. I got it. We are clear. But at the end of the day, for men who are like Jason Wilson, men that I knew growing up in my life, those are not the type of people that they were raising up, and that's not the language they use to actually develop communication. Just because you take it on as a term of endearment don't mean it's right. And I said that earlier. And we know it's not right because you don't go to work and start calling your boss that word. You don't go to work and start talking to your coworkers who do look like you that word. If a manager is around, if somebody from HR is around, because you know better. You use it only in spaces where you know people are friendly or familiar with you. But if you telling me that they doing that shit down at the Boys and Girls Club, they doing that stuff down at the basketball courts or the little leagues, in organizations that are trying to build, I mean, I don't get it. It's like you don't want white supremacy to have a hand in the community, but then you still operate in language, but say, no, what we did was, we flipped it and reversed it. You know what I'm saying? We used it in a loving way. How? How you use it in a loving way when every time you use it, you're using it to describe something being stupid, something being ridiculous. That's not loving. And again, I think we just get into this psychosis of, we want to prove ourselves to be valid because we can, because we adults. Like I said, we all got a-holes. I got one, so I'm speaking through mine, whether you like it or not. But at the same time, what is true? The true valid thing is that we're not building a community based off of interacting with each other in that way as if that's loving. Because when we have barbecues and get-togethers and stuff like that, we don't say the term. We don't say, what up, my nigga, whatever, unless you family and you familiar with them. But if we had a huge get-together, no one's going to walk up to each other and start calling each other
the N word. It's brother. It's sister. It's terms that do mean loving. Half of y'all don't even deal in the Bible either. So again, I hear people who swirl. I hear people who don't even like the Bible. I hear people who operate in such a different way use these same tactics to prove a point that they say we should be allowed to do it. Again, all you got to do is apply a little pressure and you're going to get exactly what it is we have seen tonight. And you don't got to think like me. But if you're telling me that my point is less valuable because you want an entryway to allow someone else to continue to degrade us, but you say we need to work on X, Y, and Z and not, everything white supremacy. That's why I say white supremacy it's not. White supremacy is just provided a condition. We perpetuate it internally, and that's why I use the submarine situation. They were ignorant going down into the water, and they didn't do their homework. They didn't have the knowledge. They didn't have the right people. So guess what? They imploded. And I'll be damned if I have people around me in minds walking us into another burning building because they want the opportunity to be free, be irresponsible. Good.
Can I
No, because we got Dana. Dana ain't spoken an hour, so I'm getting to Dana, and I'm gonna get the Wells, and then I get to you. Dana,
it's my turn. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I was just sitting back listening and editing some videos, and then I heard a comment saying something about women need to close their legs. Honey, I wish y'all men please stop using that line. Because that makes you sound like you a kid and weak. It's not my responsibility to control your seed. That's your penis. That's your sperm in it. So since y'all want to beg and bargain and plead for the pee, right? And you don't want no kids and you don't want to get married and you don't want that responsibility, well, why don't you put a condom on? Worry about your seed. Stop worrying about if a woman's legs are open or closed. Worry about your seed. Worry about your penis and who you're sticking it in. And then what follows when you don't wrap it up. Because you don't want to marry her. You don't want to be in a relationship. You don't want to support your kid. So then why you going raw up in a woman? If every woman tell you no, and a lot of women do tell y'all dudes no, y'all get turned. Y'all get no's more than you get the yeses. And when you finally get that yes, after you don't beg for it, you probably want to just want to have that feeling of what it feels like. Why ruin the moment with a condom and then she end up pregnant and then you get mad because that wasn't the one. You just wanted to hit it and that's it. Control your seed, honey. Stop worrying about a woman's legs. So I just think when people come up and say that or use that as a talking point, a defensive talking point, that actually makes you look like you're very immature. Because it's not my job, if I choose to open my legs to you after you don't beg for it, to tell you, put a condom on. Why would I tell another grown man what he needs to do to protect himself? If you're a man, then you should know how to lead. I'm sorry, I am talking. See? That's another clue of immaturity. You don't know how to follow directions. So if you call yourself a man, then a man knows how to lead. A man knows how to protect his assets internally and externally. And if you don't know how to follow directions, that means you don't know how to lead. If you don't know how to protect your seed, you do not know how to lead, which means you cannot tell a woman anything on what she should do because you don't know what to do. So I don't know if you're about to close out, but I think I'll land here. And as far as the N-word...
Oh, no, I ain't about to close out because I'm coming right after you. So go ahead.
The N-word, it is negative. It is. When I use it, I'm not using that term of endearment. I'm like, nigga, what? Nigga. What, nigga? I use a dumb nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm not using it as something good. I'm using it as something negative. Rappers use it as something negative. It's not a term of endearment, and I think that's part of the ignorance that Black people have to take accountability, that we do participate in ignorance when we try to take a word that a white man put on us as something negative. Why would we want to flip that to something good? Just get rid of it. Because when I use it, I'm not using it to salute you or to be friendly. I'm using it to belittle you. And that's it for now.
All right. Okay. All right. Because I missed the part about the legs closed, keep your legs closed and this and that. Now I got to go in a little bit myself now, Dana. I got to go in a little bit.
Told her the legs can stay open.
Okay, but okay. Now I done heard plenty of mamas and aunts and stuff tell their female daughters and nieces and granddaughters, you need to go ahead and keep your legs closed and not open your legs for every Tom, Dick, and Harry that come your way. I've heard this from women themselves say that. Okay, so let me go ahead and get ahead and say this. You're right. Brothers need to go ahead. If you don't want to have a baby, you need to go ahead and put that magnum on and wrap it up or whatever. But sisters, if you sitting there laying there, no, that magnum, love. It's the magnum. It's the magnum down. I'm from Florida where the meat hangs off the bone, so it's Magnum style down here, love. Straight up. But yeah, straight up. You ladies, you sitting there like you say, we done begged and we done pleaded, oh baby, please, please, please. Hey, let's cut the crap here. We got billions of people walking around on this earth, and it ain't just because men get horny. Women get horny too. Women, that's a big lie we've been kicking. Women enjoy sex just as much, if not more than men. So they want it just as much as the men as well, too. Not only that, but think about it. Like you say, if you don't want to get married, you don't want to, and think about it. If you know this dude may not be the marrying type, you haven't known him that long, you don't know who he's been going up raw in, who he's been shooting off in, and this and that, then you got to protect yourself. And you got to say, hey, homeboy, you got that condom on before he lay down. Hey, I know times when I was in the bed. Hey, you got a condom on, right? Yeah, I got a condom on. Okay. So it's just as much. You got to protect your wound too, because not only you got to worry about pregnancy, you got to worry about diseases and everything else as well too. And you will be the one carrying a baby for 9 months as well too. Or if some of you ladies, some of them go ahead and say, hey, I'm pregnant. I don't want to keep this baby. I'm going to go ahead and have an abortion. So just as much as it is a man's responsibility, it's just as much that woman's responsibility laying in that bed too, because while he is trying to talk you out of your drawers, a lot of times, let's be honest, ladies, we ain't got to try all that hard either, because you down and you ready. And I gotta push back against you. Nah. Well, hold on. I gotta finish because I came into the point where. I'm about to push back yeah. We're gonna be pushing back and forth. Then we're gonna do a little Twitter spar back and forth. But yeah, listen, y'all sit in that bed too. You don't know this man like that. You need to make sure women need to keep condoms on hand too. There's plenty of women. Y'all got condoms and stuff nowadays too. Okay. This ain't the 1960s. We know what era we live in with STDs and pregnancies and everything else. Women should keep condoms on there just in case he want to play dumb. Oh, I ain't got a condom. Okay, well, I got one for you right here. You just can't let no, you're not going up in me raw like that. So no, I'm gonna make sure I'm protected, because I'm gonna be the one ultimately that's gonna have to give birth if I get pregnant from you. I don't know if you want to marry me or not or whatever. So yeah, you have a voice in that. Women like I say, it's equal to men. You need to go ahead and make sure, hey, I'm gonna do the thing, whatever. I don't want to have any kids right now. Let me make sure I don't get this woman pregnant. But at the same time, she's got to also protect herself as well too. There's condoms, there's birth control. You can get the shot. What you had back in the day, the diaphragm. You got all kind of different ways to protect yourself as well too. So it ain't solely on the man to make sure that you not get pregnant.
It's solely on the man, no. And it's like you're being redundant, because I'm not saying that it's all on you. What I'm saying here is, if we're going to have a conversation, a genuine conversation, particularly about the Umar Johnson with Black men and accountability, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And you and Bobo proved my point. Not being able to take accountability. Women have to take accountability day in and day out. So yes, if women should protect themselves, I never said that, and that wasn't my point. My point that I'm making here is if your last conclusion, if your conclusion is women close your legs, then I got to tell you, no, you as a grown man control your dick. It's the same way I have to control my pussy. Control you. And the thing is, if we don't control each other, I'm left with the baby. Whether you're there or not, you have that option. We know that. We have to carry that. Trust and believe. Women know that the burden is more on us. However, let me push back on that a little bit, because women also know in 2023 we do have the courts on our side.
Yes, ma'am.
We can. So again, if I have the law on my side and I have all these grants from all these corporations, if I even have white supremacy on my side, wouldn't that tell you if you are a real grown man?
And that's what I said. That's what I said too. I said that. Hold on. That's what I said too. Because like I said, I didn't come in. I heard the legs. Wait. Hold on. Because you actually cut me off when I was speaking. Remember, so you actually cut me off. What I was saying that it's both people's responsibility. Hold on, Dana. Because I was saying it's both people's responsibility. I said that. Yeah, but I'm saying, but no. Well, hold on, Dana. Hold on, Dana. Hold on. What you were saying about that men need to go ahead and put the condom on. Men need to do this.
No. See, you put to tell men. When I went to speak, I was referring to Volvo when his last statement was "women close your legs." So I'm not saying, it's all on you men. It is 50-50. It takes us 100. It takes two people.
But I said that.
To produce a kid.
I said that. I said what the men need to do. I said about the men. Wait, hold on, Dana. Hold on, because like I say, I didn't finish speaking because you actually cut in on me.
No, but you were replying to what I was saying as if I wasn't taking responsibility, as if I'm trying to give women an out, and I'm not saying that. What you're saying is irrelevant because that ain't the point that I was making. And that's not the point of the conversation tonight. And that's what I'm saying. If we're going to have a genuine conversation, let's have that conversation, even if the main topic is black men. We can have another space. If you have another space, the main topic could be black women. But it's black men and accountability.
Well, we are having a genuine conversation. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna talk. Hold on. We are having, because in that whole little thing I was talking about, I talked about black men making sure that, hey, if you don't want to get married, if you don't want this or that, you need to go ahead and have the condom on as well too. But I talked about black women as well too, so we can equally talk about both of them, like you said. And I talked about both of them.
That's what we're doing. So it's like, okay, so you're equally talking about black women as if I'm not, or you know what I'm saying, or if someone's echoing my same sentiments as if we're not. I'm still talking about black men and black women. Everybody has a part to play. So only thing I'm saying is to push back to Volvo's last comment about closing the legs. That's putting it all on one person with that comment. Because it is about what women need to do and men need to do. You just can't say, well, if women close their legs, we wouldn't have this problem. No, that's disingenuous. That's not accurate. That's not what taking accountability looks like. So that's what I'm saying. If we want to sit up here, I don't know why men get so defensive when the conversation is based around you. It's like y'all cannot take constructive criticism.
Wait, that applies equally. That applies equally as well too, because I made sure I use an example. But I made sure I use an example of saying that I've heard many a times, and I said that women, I've heard mothers, I've heard grandmas, I've heard aunts, I've heard all of them tell nieces, daughters, cousins, and everything else, girl, you need to sit down and keep your legs closed. I've heard this come out of women's mouths.
That's a woman to a woman. So a man, if you want to say that to a woman,
and women and our mothers have told us we need to keep our dicks in our pants.
No. I'm talking about when a man tries to say that to a woman. I'm saying to him, you need to focus on you, because we got the fathers and the mothers telling us that, but that ain't the conversation tonight. The Dr. Umar conversation is about black men and accountability. So if you're saying, okay, we need to have have a conversation about equals, then we're not having a conversation about Dr. Umar Johnson and his comments. Because that wasn't about equals. It was about the accountability and responsibility on men. And if you cannot focus on Black men and have that conversation tonight, and I'm not talking about just you, I'm talking about this in general. If you have a problem just focusing on Black men, then you can't have a genuine conversation that can have solutions come out of it.
Well, I'm gonna say this right here, Dana. I'm gonna say this right here. I heard Dr. Umar what he was saying about the actual part with the pregnancy. Now, a lot of stuff he said I agreed with, but when he sat here and he said that basically the and he tried to say that the 100% responsibility for pregnancy is on men, I believe that's bullshit. Straight up, the 100 is not 100% on men, and I don't care who likes it or not. It's not 100% on men. Yes, that was his point. That was his point. That was his point. No, Dana, hold on. Because he said, Dr. Umar said specifically, he was saying that it's your seed and this and that. So if she gets pregnant, he was trying to say, make it sound like, well, guess what? I guess we just sitting here with a sex doll, like she has no say in whatsoever her getting pregnant. It's just 100% the man.
The way he formulated his whole concept, if that's what you walked away from, then you missed the whole point.
Yeah, well, that is what I walked away from, because it's not 100% a man's fault if a woman gets, it takes two to tango.
But he was talking about your part of it. Yes, it takes two. Well, he was talking about the man's part. And maybe tomorrow he'll talk about the woman part. But he was talking about the man part. It takes two, but he was focusing on the men. He never said women didn't have responsibilities.
No, certain things he can say that is 100% a man's fault and a man's problem, and I have no disagreement with that. When it comes to making a life, it takes two people.
He wasn't saying making a life, it only takes one, because biology tells you.
But that's what he was saying, Dana. He was saying that. Hey, it's your responsibility as a man, because you're the man. You had a semen. You basically come in her. So you are the one. You're the reason why she gets pregnant.
You missed this whole point. The way he formulated the whole context. If you walked away with that, you missed his point.
No, I didn't miss his point. I was on point. I understood exactly what he was saying.
That's not the point he was trying to make.
Well, here's my thing right here. Here's my thing right here. Dr. Umar ain't a god. Okay, Dr. Umar's a man just like anybody else. Well, that's what I'm saying. Dr. Umar, if he's sitting up here saying that 100% that it's and that's what he was saying. He told those guys straight up, hey, you're a man, you're this and that. If you're with a woman and you're getting ready to have sex and you come inside of her, whatever, you notice. I mean, come on, please. So you're basically saying like this woman has no say in her getting pregnant?
Did he say a woman doesn't have say?
That's basically what he said. He said it's a man's responsibility. He said DJ. Well, that's my interpretation, and that's a lot of people's interpretation, because that's what he said. He is putting the onus on men in terms of getting women pregnant.
Going back to my point, men have a problem when the conversation is about them. You have a problem just having a conversation and acknowledging the lack of accountability in certain areas, because now you want to swing back and say basically that's what he said. That's what he said. Well, that's what I took from it.
No, that is what he said. Here's the thing here, Dana. Like I said, it takes two to tango. So no, men are not 100%. Men are not 100% responsible for a woman getting pregnant. Straight up.
He said that we was watching the damn pregnant. He said that we was responsible for getting y'all pregnant. He said that.
I played the whole.
See, this the problem. And he said it was on us. He said it was on us. As well. He said it was on us. This the problem that we have, y'all. On us. Damn, he said it was on the men. This is on the men. Listen to me.
No, I'm not listening. I want to listen to the clip. Run the whole clip. I think it's a 3-minute clip.
Okay, real fast.
Hold on real quick, because DJ's got the clip. DJ, are you in the space? DJ, you in the space? Okay, let's see when DJ comes back and we can get.
No. I'm here.
Hey DJ, real good. Let me mute it. Do you got the clip, the part where he's sitting up here talking about when the woman actually
Just give me 2 seconds.
Okay, let me keep it muted till he finds this real quick. So we can go ahead and see, because like I say, I know he was telling the guys.
Go ahead and unmute it, because I gotta go in the other room and get the tablet. I left it in the other room, so give me 2 seconds. Go ahead.
Well, Total is right. Total is right. He said that it was on the man, Dana. He specifically blamed us. If y'all get pregnant, he said it is on us. He blamed us, the men. That's what he said. He didn't blame you. He didn't blame you.
I'm just feeling. I'm thinking.
I'm not in my feelings, man. I'm just telling you what he said. I'm just telling you what he said. All right.
Go ahead, DJ, and play it.
Hold up, give me 2 seconds. Just let me load it up, so that way we can just stop, arguing with each other versus getting to the information. Hold on 1 second, man. Where is it? On live? She sent me the thing right here. Okay. Hold up a minute. Okay, that's the other page. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Just be patient. Right here. All right, let me go up.
By the way, while he looking for that, y'all, for context purposes, his name is Dr. Umar Blue Gum Lips.
Come on now. We ain't got it. Let's not insult him or whatever. Like, let's just go ahead and get the content. Let's not go ahead and insult him. I might not agree. But let's chill. We got to chill on the blue gum stuff too, Professor. Now, come on now. That we sound like one of these redneck white boys talking about us and shit. Like I ain't no Umar friend. I ain't no Umar dude, but yeah.
Hey, for the record, in the context, Professor, I don't think he's a real doctor, but whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, but I don't think he is.
I know he's supposed to be a psychiatrist now. I mean, I believe.
Yeah, he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be some kind of psychiatrist.
Hey, look, not according to Roland Martin.
I know, right?
All right, let's go. Let's take it to the top. Let's stick to the topic. Okay, Danny is right. Stick to the topic. Hopefully y'all can hear it. But look, I'm gonna just let it go twice the time, so that way we can just hear it for the context.
Go ahead.
Patient with our women, because we created that personality. We created that. And we didn't play a role.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable. No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection. See, what you're saying, you're selecting a poor mate. And what I'm saying is they don't have much to select one, so of course she's going to end up with a poor mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as black men are not raising black boys to be the men that our women need. We are not. They out there killing themselves right now. What we doing about it? Unemployed black males, what we doing about it? Pants sagging, weed smoking, what we doing about it? Black men are not raising black boys to be the men our community needs. That is 100% our fault. What I'm saying is she got a right to be angry with us. She got a right to be angry, be patient with our women, because we created that personality. We created that, and then we want to act like we didn't play a role.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable. No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection. See, what you're saying, you're selecting a poor mate. And what I'm saying is they don't have much to select one, so of course she's going to end up with a poor mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as black men are not raising black boys to be the men that our women need. We are not. They out there killing themselves right now. What we doing about it? Unemployed black males, what we doing about it? Pants sagging, weed smoking, what we doing about it? Black men are not raising black boys to be the men our community needs. That is 100% our fault. What I'm saying is she got a right to be angry with us. She got a right to be angry. Be patient.
No, I'm talking about the part where he said he had in there where he talked about the actual women getting pregnant too. That's the part that I wanted to play. And then.
I think I got that clip too. Hold on a second.
Yeah, get that.
Yeah, that's the part I'm talking about.
That clip that you talking about that he's got to go get, is that part of the podcast he just did? Because you just played the 50-second, you didn't play the full 3-minute clip that went viral.
Right, I got that one too.
Well, let me say this real fast, right? This is the problem that we having in the black community. Women like Danny, you got a lot of lists. You need to settle down.
I think you need to.
Okay, let's not go there. Let's not go there. Really, we're not going to get it heated to that point. There now. Let's not tell anybody that now. Go ahead, DJ, and try to find that.
Face real quick. This is on two. This one is exactly 2 minutes for sure.
Go ahead.
2 minutes 20 seconds. I think this is the one where he says we are partially to blame, but so it's also a systematic blame. I think this is it right here. Or if not, send it to me, Danny. You already know.
Where the lawyer at? Where the business owner at? Where your city council person at? We abandon black boys, and then we blame black men for poor choices in mates that they should not even have to make if we did a better job raising our boys the right way. At the end of the day, if I'm going to call myself a man, the ultimate responsibility for reconstruction of the black community rests with me. Yes, they have a role. Yes, they have responsibility. But as a man, as a leader, to say I can't fix this shit unless she changes, that's not the definition of a man.
I don't see. I think we're on two different chords. Like, I don't think we're saying that. What I'm saying is I'm capable of being that leader, that provider. I worked hard in my life. You know what I'm saying? I should not have to. But I only feel like we tell black men that we have to now deal with masculine women with children.
Why is she masculine? Because she had to raise the kids alone, not one woman, but a whole community.
You mean to tell me the only woman I can look forward in my life is a masculine woman that has kids by other women?
No, that's what I have to go forward to. But I'm telling you, mistakes made by black men systemically gave rise to the conditions that allowed her to be masculine and made her end up with a man that you consider to be less than what he should be. And I'm telling you, black men are responsible for her being masculine because we have not helped her raise them children. And when I say help them raise them children, I don't mean you as the stepdad. I mean you as an active member in the community where we go to every single parent black mother and say, how many sons you got? 2? How many sons you got? 2? Well, guess what? That's your son's big brother. That's your son's big brother. He taking him to school. He doing the homework. He gonna spend a couple hours with him every Saturday. He got his own kids too, but he gonna make time for you. She got masculine because she had to become masculine in order to deal with the rape, the abuse, the domestic violence, the disappointments that they had in her life, and also raising those kids and having to take care of herself all at the same time. The black woman has been the be-all, end-all in our community for half of a century, and then we would turn around and say because she didn't do it perfectly enough or remain feminine enough, where she had to absorb our responsibilities plus her own, that's insensitive and disingenuous. With the lawyer.
Let it go again, or that's enough.
Are you sure that's it?
No, that's not it. That's not that. No, because we looking. He specifically talks about, and the guys they ask him, they saying that hey, they get him and the guys they get a conversation about it. He specifically talks about that black men are responsible if the woman gets pregnant. That they're the ones that hold the responsibility if she gets pregnant.
Was it from that?
It was from that. It was from that interview.
Well, it wasn't from the part that went that 3 minute. That was the 3 minute part that he played that went viral. You're talking about the hour and 30, the whole hour.
Yeah, it was part of that. It was part of that interview where he was talking about, because I heard it because I listened to most of that interview, so it was part of that interview.
So you can't. I was going.
I can't. Yeah, I can't remember because I listened to it maybe a couple of days.
Yeah, find it and give you.
It was within the hour. It was within that hour, Dana. And see, I'm like,
I'm focused on the 3 minute clip that went viral. So you're Newstoter, you're referencing something else that was said in that interview. I'm talking about the video that went viral. So
yeah, because I was just referencing the part because when I heard y'all when I came in, I heard you talking about like the closed legs and stuff like that, and when I heard, I didn't hear the whole conversation with what Volvo was saying and stuff, and I heard you talking about the condoms and men and this and that. So we were, my thing is like, hey, it takes two to tangle. A man is just as responsible for a woman getting pregnant as a woman is responsible for getting pregnant herself.
No, and I'm not disagreeing with that, and I'm not saying anything other than that.
But Umar said that it was the man that was responsible and not the woman. I said Umar. Umar said that the man is responsible. That's what Umar said.
Listen, I didn't listen to that whole 90-minute interview. I'm going by the clip, the viral clip, what everybody else is talking about, the viral clip. If you want to pick something else that he said, I need to go. I prefer to go back and hear from myself, because I don't just say what somebody say to me to take it as what it is. Because you, like I said, you may interpret it differently. I didn't hear the whole interview. I'm going off that 3-minute clip. And just by us discussing that 3-minute clip that went viral, men feeling uncomfortable talking about it. And that's what I mean is, when the flashlight is on you, why is it pushback? But you don't have a problem putting a flashlight on a woman. And it was just to tell in a Volvo's comment that he said close the legs. And that's when it was my turn to speak.
Well, grandmother said too. Grandmother said close the legs.
I was piggybacking off of his comment in relation to the topic. And the point that I'm trying to make, relation to the topic with the focus of Black men, is stop saying for me to close my legs when you should be controlling your seat. Yes, it takes two to create. But if I'm pregnant, I got to hold that bag, whether you're there or not. That's a fact given. But that ain't the conversation we having tonight. Don't make a kid if you don't want a kid with that woman. If you can't see yourself being in a relationship.
You need to come over there.
Hey,
you need to stop acting like this.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, Volvo, Volvo, hold on real quick. You gotta chill, because you the main one that be talking about trolls up in the space now. You can't just sit up here and say that, bro. Come on.
Let me say this now. Grandmothers always said that women need to hold their legs. Listen to me. My grandmother. I know. Look, I'm just telling you. My grandmother passed away 2 years ago. My grandmother who passed away 2 years ago always said that women have the control of the sex. Okay? And it's true. You can't deny it. It's on y'all, whether you want to admit it or not. It's on you, the woman. Because y'all are the ones that can open the legs or close the legs. My grandmother always said that. And other older women in the community have always said that. It's on the women. Because men are visual creatures. They are visual creatures by habit. So if they see multiple women coming at them, they're going to react. They're going to be like, oh, shoot, man, I got this woman looking at me. I got this woman looking at me. I got this woman looking at me. The onus on you, Dana, whether you want to admit it or not. Now, if you don't like what I'm saying, go talk to the older women in the community, because they'll tell you the same thing. Because I heard it, and I know you heard it too. Now, what do you have to say?
Professor, I'm not disagreeing with what your grandmother said or your mother said, because what she meant as a woman, it is on us. Because, yeah, if you want to open up your legs and you know this man is running around town with this one, because they are visual, it's on you. When you get pregnant and you choose to have that baby, the responsibility falls on us. Because, yes, you have that option to stay or go away if you are not married. That's what she meant. That the responsibility, not because, oh, well, men are visual and he's going to sleep with that one and that one, so you need to keep your legs. No, you need to keep your legs closed, because he may not be there, especially if you're not married, and you are the one that's ultimately responsible. It's on you what happens after that, because you have to carry that baby for 9 months. You're going to have to.
I got a question for you. So is it an issue?
Hey, real quick, really, because we got Wilson. She's been waiting for a minute, so let me get.
Okay, it'll be a real quick.
No, let me get the Wilson.
I just want to ask my question, just yes or no, to Professor's point. So if the onus lies on the woman, so would the onus of abortion lie on a woman too? So is it wrong for the woman to have an abortion if the man decides he ain't gonna be there, or is it wrong for her to keep the child too? Which one?
You can read the Bible.
Please, Professor, please answer her.
Okay. All right. So in reference to this question here, I don't agree with abortion. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that out the way. I don't agree with the abortion thing. But the woman's body, right?
But yeah, the onus is on the woman because of that. And are they saying it's a woman's right to choose?
If it's a woman's right to choose,
A man doesn't have any say if a woman's going to abort that baby or not, unless he may be married to her. Because legally,
So then Kevin Samuel's point that the abortion rates are high shouldn't matter then, since women get to choose and they get the chance to go ahead and make the decisions of what's happening to our community. That means black men are stepping away. They're not even going to have a discussion.
Well, let me ask you a question, Rella. Let me ask you a question. Legally, can a man stop a woman? And if you're not married, you have a baby from a man and you're not married, can a man stop you from having an abortion?
No.
Oh, okay.
Actually, he cannot. But you know what?
That's what I'm saying. So so basically, a man has.
You said the word man, so I'm assuming that this man is going to decide to actually work with this woman to try to keep the child. But some people ain't that honest.
But I'm saying by law. Hold on, real quick. By law. Hold on. By law, can that man stop that woman from having an abortion? Because after we all know, they say it's a woman's right. It's a woman's body. So basically, from what the law is telling us, that woman has full control over that child. A man has no control over that child until that child actually comes. From what the law is telling us.
You're correct.
Okay.
So that means the conversation around Kevin Samuel should cease. It shouldn't matter no more.
Kevin Samuels is right. Stay mad.
Kevin Samuels is wrong. He ain't here no more.
Okay, let's go to Wilson. Let me go to Wilson real quick, y'all.
That's why y'all single. That's why y'all.
Okay, I had to hit the mute button because I'm saying I'm finna go to Wilson real quick. Wilson, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, twin, how you doing?
Good. I'm just very disappointed in all the exchanges. I shouldn't say all. Some of them. Just the last topic, the question about if the woman has a right to her own body and making a decision to have an abortion. Yes, but there's a main component here. And the component is it takes two to make a baby. And if a man finds himself in front of a woman who's telling him that she's pregnant with his child, even if he does not want her to keep it, but she decides to keep it, I do believe that it is the responsibility of both to take care of that child. Regardless, there is enough birth control out there for free on both sides to be able to prevent pregnancy. But thing that there's so many things that causes these problems. But mainly, there is no emotional intelligence in relationships, especially young people today. There are, reasons why women get pregnant. Why men are having sex with women without condoms. I mean, to me, nowadays, it's amazing that men can just fuck. Well, I shouldn't say. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to use that word. And without a condom on, and not be concerned. Because just because someone is pretty and clean looking doesn't mean that they are. I think too, the recklessness, the dick and pussy recklessness also, what's attributed to that is the fact that we are now living good lives with AIDS and HIV. And it doesn't seem so scary as it once was 40 years ago. And you have people having sex and not telling that partner that they have HIV or, any herpes or whatever. You now are, using sex to make money for drugs because of drug habits. And, I saw something online about a woman pregnant on Geary Street in San Francisco. If some of you don't know, that's like a main street of San Francisco. Pregnant, smoking crack, according to witnesses, all afternoon, and gave birth to her baby on that street, on that sidewalk. I don't understand the dialogue here, because at the end of the day, we are at a crucial point of our survival. And if we don't get over this bullshit, this man and woman shit, and start giving each other grace, look, we talked about earlier what caused the breakdown of the black family. A lot of it had nothing to do. It wasn't our control. You know, a lot of the jobs left the United States. Most black people were in blue-collar jobs. That was our strength, and those were gone. And the men at the head of the table, they found themselves without a job, and the manhood ego thing kicks in, the pressure, the drinking, the drugs. It all came crashing down on our people. And we have to give them grace. If those were your parents or your grandparents, no other race would have sustained all of it. Okay? No other race would have sustained it. Anybody else would have suffered the same. Okay? They would have suffered the same. Okay, so having said that, what do we do moving on? We don't have the black church anymore to help us, to guide us. It's not it. We've got each other. And so at the end of the day...
Mute up taxation.
Oh, sorry. At the end of the day, we have to start getting back down to basics. And that is to help hearing each other and help to understand where our pain is. We have post-traumatic stress syndrome and slave syndrome. We have it. Society is not allowing us to heal. We have to find ways in order to heal. We have to get back to family planning. Get on birth control. Men, wear a goddamn condom, because it takes two. It takes two. I don't give a shit what you say. It takes two. And if you do find yourself in a situation where an innocent child is being brought into the world, I need you to take care of that child, man. I want the women to take care of that child. I also want to make a comment on the fact that if we don't start creating jobs for ourselves and creating the wealth for ourselves and making the strides to be fiscally responsible, if you don't know that there's a lot of information to seek, you can find it. It's easy to find. We've got to be able to buttress our own selves, and we cannot afford to have anyone else infiltrate us again, because we're on the edge of doom. I am so tired of hearing the back and forth with this, man. I am trying to contain myself here because it's hurtful. We have got to give each other second chances 1,000,000 times, because we're not going to get it right away. But we've got to be able to be each other's back. And I cannot emphasize this more and more and more, that if we do not get off this bullshit, this fuck shit that we're talking about right now, and get on code and get our shit together, goddammit, clean your credit up, save money, move forward, be entrepreneurial, take those fucking jobs those Hispanics are taking. Take it, goddammit. They're taking over the goddamn world.
I ain't picking them
I was in College Point, Queens yesterday.
Hey, Viral, keep your mic muted, bro.
I was in College Point, Queens yesterday, and I was disturbed. I'm disturbed when I see it's like fucking Taipei or Shanghai up in that bitch. These to be a black neighborhood and got the nerve to have signs up in their language. You don't even know what the fuck it is. That's how bold they are. Folks, we got to stop this. And we got to give each other grace and give our people grace that went through all that shit in the 70s and 80s and 90s. Man, that shit was fucking heavy. Who the fuck could survive that shit? And not make it an excuse why we can't get together right now. Fuck that. That's in the past. And start loving your black women. Start loving your black men. God damn it. Thank you.
All right. Let me go ahead and get to Viral. Go ahead and unmute your mic. And then I'm gonna get the Black Pressure. Go ahead, Viral. Unmute your mic. Viral, didn't you have your hand up? Did you want to speak? Hey, Viral, do you want to speak? Okay, I guess not.
That's interesting. About just saying something.
He just said something. I know, so that's what I'm saying. If he wanted to speak or not.
He could have stepped out because I know he taking cancer family issues. We were speaking about that last night.
Okay. Go ahead, Black Pressure.
So, say news. I swear I try to be good, man. I try to sit back and listen, but it's been so disrespectful tonight. It's been past disrespectful. So, first, and mine is going to be quick. Someone brought up men begging for vagina. Sweetheart, I don't know what kind of people you've been hanging around. It's cats begging for vagina. I wouldn't beg a woman for a cup of water if I was dying of thirst, and that's every nigga I hang around with, let alone someone's decrepit vagina. So I don't know who does that, or if you're seeing that on television or reading some feminist literature. I don't know where you get that from, but don't know nigga I know that. But I'll move on from that. Anyway, news, did you see when I chose to discuss the use of the N-word, right? I flew above all the flutter. I said, look, that word really should have no bearing, especially with all the things we're going through right now. That word should have no bearing on all the issues we're dealing with. And I gave a list of issues. Hey, this is what we're dealing with. If the N-word disappeared tomorrow, this is what we would still be dealing with, right? And the first thing that people who can't confront practicality do is run to religion. The first thing that came up was the Bible, and how some people don't even believe in the Bible. And also, anybody who practices critical thinking, we could hear you disguise your insults and your soliloquy. We could hear, you could obviously hear that. I don't want to go through the line items, but I heard. But like I said, the first thing people who are deficient in defending their position do is you use religion as an excuse to be a coward. So I can say this. Hey, I believe in the Bible, right? I've said this before. I practice it a different way, but I think it's historically accurate when you read it, right? But guess what? The Bible failed us when it came to the 3/5 compromise. The Bible failed us when it came to the Red Summer, the Tuskegee experiment, Jim Crow, the Ku Klux Klan, the slave trade. The Bible failed us in all those aspects. So you can say, hey, we don't believe in the Bible, and the Bible says a lot of shit that in black people's darkest hour, it was an absentee vote. And I'll land my plane and mute up.
All right. Let me go ahead and get to the Brother Moku. Brother Moku, what's going on tonight? How you doing?
Be more codified, BeMoreCodified.com, yo.
You there, Brother Moku?
Damn, dude, we in the Matrix big time.
Yeah, Brother Moku, can you hear me? Let me drop. I'm gonna drop him down and see if we can get him to come back up. Yeah, come back up. I had to drop you down because your phone was a little bit all over the place there. So I wanted to.
He sound like he was swimming underwater right there.
He's coming back up, so let's get him up here and
that track phone, dude.
Brother,
Nah, that's the iPhone 55,000.
Brother Moku, can you hear me?
Team Android. No.
Can you hear me, Brother Moku? Oh, you low. I can't hardly hear you.
Hey, bro, get off that Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Close all the other apps out on your phone.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you better now. Go ahead.
Alright. How y'all doing, man? I'm sorry, I was supposed to thank you.
What up, brother? What up? I'm glad you came from back under the sea there.
Yeah, I'm unloading this material. But I've been listening in the space, and I just want to say this. You know, the disregard for life, the disregard for human life is really fucking unreal. You know what I'm saying? First of all, to have sex is for reproduction. You know what I'm saying? It's for the preservance of life. So anybody, first of all, talking about aborting or anybody having the right to abort, nobody should be having the right to murder. That's what abortion is. It's murder. Okay, that's first off. And if you're having sex, the possibility of an offspring completes the meaning of sex. So the real thing is, if you don't want to have a child, don't be out here fucking. Period. You know what I'm saying? You can say what you want to say, your hormones, everybody doing whatever the fuck they want to do. Look, we are all individuals before we are a community or a collective. Okay? We are individuals before we are collective. You know what I'm saying? Your individual choices and your individual decisions matter. You know what I'm saying? Birth control isn't even supposed to be a thing. I hear people talking about, well, you can wrap up your dick with a condom and you can do birth. Birth control was made to eliminate black people. So when you talk about controlling birth, that's what you're talking about. That's a white supremacist thing. Okay? Margaret Sanger, the eugenics movement. Read up on it. And I know y'all know about it, so I ain't saying it like none of y'all don't, because I know y'all know. So we got to take our emotions out of when we talking about these topics. You know what I'm saying? All the back and forth about who problem it is and who responsibility it is. Life is the responsibility of the individual living it. Life is the responsibility of the individual living it. Okay, and that means if you bring a child into this existence, because we don't create anything, if we bring a child into this existence, first of all, guess what? That child got to breathe on its own. We can't breathe for the damn child. That child got to shit and piss on its own. We can't do that for the fucking child. Okay? So we really got to start being honest, taking our emotions out of shit, and really start dissecting conversations, because if you ask me, everything that Umar said was wrong. Nothing about what he said was right. Because first of all, we're not the reason we're in the victim status that we're in. We always seem to forget the fucking white supremacists. We always seem to let these motherfuckers off the hook. Like we invented abortions. Like we invented black on black crime. Like we invented the fucking church, the church that's misleading us. We need to start, when we start realizing and knowing that shit is backwards, we need to stop practicing that shit. Period. You know what I'm saying? Stop condoning the shit. And the first thing is about sex. Because when you confuse a person about sex, you can control everything that they do and think. This is how white supremacists have the victims arguing with each other instead of fighting the fucking white supremacists. This is what white supremacy is, folks. And the victims, we're doing exactly what victims do, especially when you're confused. We need to stop being confused about sex. And what I mean about stop being confused about sex is stop condoning the shit, period. I don't give a fuck if you got a care unit member that's sexually confused. Confront them and straighten this shit
things? Why do we keep repeating the same stupid actions and expecting different results? That's insanity. That's insanity. So to the topic, I'll say Umar Johnson was totally wrong on relationships, and that's why he ain't in fucking one. Because he don't know how to conduct himself in one. If he did, he'd have a black woman and black children behind him. But he don't. And I think that's what we need to really start paying attention to. You feel what I'm saying? We need to start concentrating on what correction looks like, corrective thinking. You know what I'm saying? Using our words correctly. Because all this abortion talk and all this relationship talk, when you put abortion and relationships together, you got confusion right there. Because that's two things that absolutely should not be going in the same fucking sentence. You're talking about murder and having a relationship. This is white supremacy, folks. And none of us are outside of it. And none of us ain't never seen life without it. Because that's something called justice. We ain't never seen that. So I suggest we start taking our feelings out of when we having conversations, period, especially when it's against victims. And we need to stay away from making statements and to start asking questions and stop interrupting people. Stop coming off your fucking mic. If you ask the question, shut the fuck up and get the answer. Because if you're interrupting a motherfucker, you never get the whole answer. And then you start arguing, then we wasting time. 3-4 hours in a fucking space arguing. And never coming to a solution, never. We always come into an individual dispute. Well, I just feel how I feel, and we can agree to disagree. Is that a solution? Because I'm still damn sure struggling. No taxation, damn sure still struggling. News still struggling. DJ still struggling. We all out here working a fucking job, living paycheck to paycheck. And that's not an insult to anybody, because I'm not outside this shit. I'm trying to get beyond it with y'all. Not by me and mine, because I ain't got no me and mine if I ain't got y'all with me. Real talk. I ain't got no me and mine if I ain't got y'all with me. And it worked that way, and it worked vice versa. So I need for us to stop being emotional and start really understanding what the fuck we listening to and dissect that shit appropriately. And look, and if you don't know, sit the fuck back and listen. That's the most valuable thing you can do. You got 2 motherfucking ears. Your ears are more valuable than your mouth. That's contrary to what you believe and what you've been told. That's why you got 2, because it's more valuable to listen than to take your ass out there and start speaking on some shit you know or don't know about at all. Or confused. It's okay not to know. But God damn it, once you know, you got to do better. I'll land there, and I love all y'all.
All right. We're gonna hit our last few speakers for the night. We're gonna go Phoenix and everybody else. These are the last 5 speakers for the night. I'm gonna be shutting this down by 11:30. Don't come back up here, guys. Yeah, I see him. I'm gonna get to him. But we're gonna go Phoenix. We're gonna go Chief. We're gonna go Viral. Then we'll go I think Dana and then Rella, and that's gonna be it for the night. Like I say, by 11:30, I'm shutting this down. If you're long-winded, I'm gonna have you land your mic. I'm gonna give everybody 3 to 4 minutes to go ahead and speak. We've been going since 8 o'clock. So if you're long-winded, I'm gonna shut you down myself. Nobody come off your mic. Nobody ask another person a question. Come up here, state what you gotta state. And like I say, by 11:30, this space is gonna be shutting down. So Phoenix, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Amen, family. Amen. Amen. Wealth and amen to Brother Moses. Hey, you know what? They said it all. They spoke to my heart. I will add what Mr. Wilson was saying about, being emotionally intelligent within the relationship. That's really important for our young people who are at, ages where they're producing children. Now, we want to produce children, but we want to care for them properly. Because the best thing on this planet relationships. So should people who are in relationships or seeking relationships take advice from people who don't have them? I'm not sure, because somewhere in there, I'm not saying because, we've been in relationships, we've gotten divorced, we've had breakups and things like that. I'm passing judgment. I will say.
Hey, Phoenix, can you speak up a little bit louder if possible?
Okay, can you hear me better now?
It's about the same.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go on and go. But I just want to say, amen. Thank you for touching on point. Is the way. And, it takes a village to raise these children. And I'm going to land there.
All right. Thank you, Phoenix. Governor was up here, but I don't see him up here right now. So, Viral, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace to the chat. Man, I agree with a lot of speakers that were on tonight. I respect everybody's point of view. But you got black feminists out here, and I would say that the opposite of that is red pill. You can disagree if you want to, but that's just my opinion. I agree with Wellesley. What she's saying is all of this back and forth is time wasting. It's unnecessary. This topic is trivial, but not our main. What we need to be focused on. Good to have a dialogue every once in a while, but the bottom line is they target both male and black female. So what are we really talking about here? I never followed Kevin Samuels. Never really listened to what he was saying. A lot of these guys out there I never really listened to. But I'm gonna say this: that I know what's right and I know what's wrong, and I know the proper way to move, and that's the way I'm gonna keep moving. I respect anyone that's out here speaking the right things and trying to make a positive outcome for black people. So I don't have no problem with what Umar said. Like I said, that's his perspective, his point of view, his opinion. He entitled to have that, And we get like emotional over some things some people say. It's just their point of view. It's just their point of view. That don't make it right. It's just the point of view they have. We talked about a lot of things in this space tonight. So many things, about abortion. I do believe that abortion, bottom line, comes down to a woman. That's her body. And we were talking about what happened to the black man in the household. It's a lot of things that happen. We got welfare. We got the mass incarceration. It's a lot of things. But knowing these things out here, we need to move better because that's what they want to do. I got some things going on right now, DJ. I'll talk to you about it. Some real things going on right here. Some of the shit that we see in some of these timelines, it's really got me pissed off because it's happening to a family member of mine. And I like to say Wesley Bell ain't shit. I hear he running for senator. Wesley Bell and his prosecutors ain't shit here. We talk about how vote.
Hey, Viral brother, I don't mean to rush you, but
all right.
Yeah.
I'll close it off.
No problem.
Thank you for giving me time to speak.
No problem, brother.
I'll shout at you later, DJ. We'll talk about this later.
All right. Dana, go ahead and unmute your mic. I think it's Dana. I'm not sure. Is it Dana or Rella? Y'all know which one?
No, it's me, Dumbrella.
Go ahead, Dana.
So yeah, what you say, 2-3 minutes. I'm about to just put my toes all in the bullshit before the end of the show as my closing conclusion. This show tonight is not about solutions. If that's the case, it would have been hashtag solutions. Number two, black pressure. I'm not your sweetheart. I don't know you. You don't know me. If it don't apply, let the shit fly. I didn't say black pressure begging or Bobo begging or anybody up here. I'm speaking about men in general. Because Professor backed me up by saying, yeah, grandma said men, they like their visual, they like to float around. So I'm speaking about men. But when a man sit up here and say, I ain't never begging out and none of my friends, you're lying. Those are ones that be begging. And maybe you've been exposed to decrepit pussy, but that don't apply to me. I don't care. So if it don't apply to you, don't get in your feelings. And I noticed it's a couple of people who getting emotional every time a conversation applies to men. Brother Moko, always have positive things to say, love what you said or whatever. But this ain't the night for the civil rights conversation because this is not about solutions. But the thing is, Dr. Umar, no, he's not married and he may not be in a relationship. But what he has that none of us up here don't have is a board certification in psychology. He knows the behaviors of people and men and women and the sexes. That is better. That's more knowledge than a lot of marriages. It's a lot of marriages I would not even sit up here and take advice from, or boyfriend and girlfriend. So his expertise trumps relationships. But I get your point, right? But he is a professional, board certified. So we're up here going back and forth, yada yada yada. None of us are board certified, so it's just our own personal opinions and perspectives. And that's it, honey. Y'all go over to DJ so y'all can sit up here and complain.
Look, let me tell you something. I love you to death, but that man's a board certified.
No, what I was going to say is
I'm going in at the table.
let me just land real quick. Y'all go over to the liquor store and keep complaining about what I said about the men begging and you can't fit madness.
Hey, look, I say this right here. I want women to keep their legs open. That's what y'all want to do. Keep your legs open.
Right. Get out your feelings.
Hey, and let me just say this. Like I said, it's no hard feelings or anything like that in the space or whatever. So it was just a bunch of people sharing their opinions tonight, like you said, Dana. So it's no hard feeling.
Well, it was two people in their feelings. Two people. Black pressure and Lobo. I call out names, honey. I call out names. And it's the first time me and you really had a back and forth. It's with respect, So again, if I come with respect, but if you want to come at me, I'm gonna come back at you. But I'm gonna make sure I win. That's all.
No, it wasn't no winning because you was actually cutting into my actual speaking time. So.
I'm not talking about you.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh. Well, yeah.
I'm talking about if people want to call names, call people out their names, disrespect. Well, I'm gonna disrespect you back, but I'm gonna win that argument right there. But other than that, always a entertaining space, Volvo. Thank you.
No, Volvo. You mean Newstoter?
Y'all don't be messing with these Brick City women. They gonna get you.
I'm sorry. Newstoter.
Like, you got Volvo on your mind. I don't know.
I know, honey. Yeah.
Hey, go ahead, Rella. You got it.
Thanks, Newstoter. This was a great space, I guess. And
you kind of said it like it wasn't. Like, I guess. I guess. You kind of said it like it wasn't.
I agree with Dana. Like, I feel like we can't even have the discussion and stay on topic like you always talk about, because the topic was about Dr. Umar and what he was saying about black men, and it turned into the moment
I walked away for a second, and when I came back, I didn't know what was talking about. So,
well, it always happens because again, people who get in their feelings get mad, and then when you start to respond to their points, you get called low key, whatever. I don't low key do nothing. Everything I do with my full person, spiritually, physically, mentally, and I don't do low key. I don't do low key backdoor nothing.
I speak for very straightforward. And I will say this to also Black Pressure, that the term Niger was brought up by Bobo. All I did was respond to his comment because he was incorrect. So then on top of the other thing is that if we're going to have the discussion about black men need to be talking about black men, not black men and how a black woman is doing X, Y, and Z. She got the ultimate choice and all this other stuff. That wasn't the discussion tonight. That was not the discussion. And that shows me again, black men don't listen because they don't even want to talk about themselves and how they show up in the community, but they want to placate and to make excuses, even go so far as to create fictional characters and call them Pookies and Ray Rays, when you yourself, and to Dr. Umar's point, are responsible. Because if you are responsible for yourself, you're responsible for yourself not turning into a Pookie and Ray Ray. Y'all the one that came up with these terms, these fictional characters. I'm just here playing in the campus. So if we're really going to be honest and have a real conversation, I would love to see black men start talking more about what black men need to be doing. Not black men who always seem to have a PhD in what black women are doing or have done. Woe is me. The victim mentality, and then turn around and be like, well, it's white supremacy and y'all need to love on each other. When have we not had discussions about loving on each other? When have we not had discussions about building? That don't change because you pick one particular thing and actually start to suss that out. And for those who actually saw the entire clip of that interview, you might have more of a reason and compartmentalization way to have this conversation, because the people who didn't, you could tell, because they even told on themselves about how degenerate they was jumping in somebody's window with somebody's wife, and they gonna turn around and say, well, she let us in. Bubble talking about, she let us in, but you went. And you want her to hold the bag of responsibility while you don't even have your hands is clean. But again, you don't know how to compartmentalize, and you don't apparently know how to stay on topic when it comes to black men, which is why that is one of the things that we have to talk about in our discussions. And we can't do that in this space with each other. I don't know where we could do it at. And if you feel like I am being mean, let it lay where it lay. Because this is not mean for me.
Alrighty.
Thank you, News Tag. Thank you, News
Black men, black women.
Thank you. Well, you got to have a conversation without it being a black woman made you do it.
Lie.
A black woman is the reason why you did it. Because if you're telling me that your grandmother said you got to keep your legs closed as a woman has control, then did your grandmother give
Hey, real quick, Rella. Hold on real quick, because we finna land it, because like I say, 11:30.
Did your grandmother?
When you let Candace, someone's gonna speak.
Did your grandmother give you the okay after she made that comment? Did she say, you know what, Professor? It's the woman who has the ultimate choice. But guess what? If she let you jump in it, just go. Now, look, is that what she's saying to you?
Hey, real quick. Here, I'm finna hit the mute. Hey, hold on, y'all, real quick, because I did say 11:30. It's 11:28, so we getting ready to close this space out. Like straight up. We've been going 3 hours. Professor DJ, go ahead and say something, because we finna get ready to close it out for the night.
Oh, DJ, you want to go first?
I don't think DJ does. So go ahead, Professor.
Okay. Family, great discussion. We had some laughter. We had a little bit of argument. Well, not argument, but just a little dispute. But that's okay. That's what the family does. So once again, Tota gave us an opportunity for everybody to let their feelings out, let everything out. And I loved it. And so thank you again, Tota, for these topics, man. And family, let's keep on
let's keep on bringing these topics forward, man. We got to keep this discussion going because it is something that is very important to the black family. I'm gonna land right there.
All right. Y'all know DJ got a space. I think his space is slated for like 11:55, so that is a late night space for real. Thank everybody once again. We knew how this topic was going to kind of go tonight or whatever, so you know it pretty much went along the lines as we pretty much always expect, anyways. Yeah, you want to say something real quick before we close it out?
Yeah, there's a lot of double D's going on here tonight, and I ain't talking about your titties, girl. You're the dismissive and divisive, but I'll see you in the next one.
Hey, somebody gonna get hurt in that next one.
I'm not coming over there. And Dr. Umar is married to 2 women, by the way.
Hold on, Rella. You say you're not coming over there?
Nope.
Take her twin and go home. That's what that's called.
But at least Toys feel good. Toys feel good. Men feel good too.
Miss Giselle, I want to show you by yourself to sleep every night.
Not negative. Never that.
Hey, hold on, DJ. Hold on. I can't. Hey, real quick. Hey. What did you say, Rella, real quick?
I said Dr. Umar is married to 2 women. He's married to 2 black women. One is fair skin, one is dark skin.
Oh, just come up and, hey, hold on a second, real quick.
No, I'm not. I've had it done.
Okay.
Sound like you want that pimping in your life.
No, thank you. That's not my kilo.
All right. Because we finna get ready to close it out. It is 11:30. Enough with all of the chitter chatter. Thank you to everybody that came out to the space. We will see y'all in the next space. I may come through. I'm gonna see. Because I'll be trying to watch a little bit.
Right now, I'm starting that joint on right now. You coming over there, bro? You know you coming over, Carter. Just go ahead and say it.
And Rella, don't be scared of this 2H pounder. I thought you could take it.
Rella's gonna come through. Watch. She's gonna come through for a second, but shout out to everybody in the space. We finna get ready to close it out. See you guys either Sunday or Monday. More than likely Monday. Never know. Might throw a pop-up space Sunday, but we'll see what's up. But everybody take care. Come over to DJ Space. He's about to start it up. It's gonna be a continuation, y'all. So we'll see y'all then. Everybody have a good night.
See y'all in the park. Y'all know, eating everywhere. I'm thinking in that JJ tonight, late.